Right. So we're talking boxing hot topics. Shout out to everybody. Shout out to everybody. If you want to subscribe to this channel, fine. If you like this video, you can also share the video, comment as always. You can also talk in the chat right now. And also you can donate to my channel via Western Union or MoneyGram. We could also make arrangements for alternative if you guys have a better idea. Talking to you guys about boxing hot topics. Man, we got stuff to talk. First of all, let's talk about some of the recent things I just saw. Roy Jones Jr. versus Bernard Hopkins. The settling fight is going to be a 4 rounder. Looks like both guys are serious. I like it. I like that fight. I'm gonna tell you why. I think they're two legends. I think they're both around about the same age. I don't have a problem with it at all. At all. I know Hopkins got knocked out. I know Roy got knocked out. But these are legends. These are fighters. We got KSI versus Logan Paul. Nobody complaining about that shit. And we had Mayweather versus Conor McGregor. This would be great as well. Would it be an exhibition fight? I don't know. Would it be a fight that's on their records? I don't know. But I like it. I like it. It's heating up. I wish we had more matchups in boxing. Like I said before, Clarissa Shields versus Terrence Crawford. Just the idea of pound for pound, both being pound for pound fighters. I think it's a great matchup. A good old 3 rounder would be good. And who wins is the victor. You know what I'm saying? That's undecided. We don't know who's pound for pound the best in the world, male or female. People are just making these rankings and ratings, and boxers not facing each other. You know, you can't call Vasily Lomachenko pound for pound #1 in the world, and he ain't faced everybody yet. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that he has to face guys of bigger weight classes, but I'm just saying. I was just looking at the pound for pound weight class. In addition, I was looking at that, and pound for pound, they got Artur Beterbiev ahead of Manny Pacquiao. How does that happen? How does that happen, folks? Manny Pacquiao fights Keith Thurman. Okay, the dude. One of the guys who was the dude was the #1 pound for pound fighter in the world. Not too long ago. I think it was a year or two ago, right? This dude faces him, beats him. Keith Thurman's like the top 3 welterweight in the world. Against the odds that he would beat him. And guess what? They got Manny Pacquiao at 10 in the pound for pound. Ring got Pacquiao at 10 in the pound for pound rankings. I don't understand it. Honestly, don't understand it. Okay, Manny Pacquiao should be either 1 or 2 in the pound for pound rankings. Canelo Alvarez is not even in the top. I don't think he's top 3. Okay, the rings got Vasily Lomachenko. Then they got Terrence Crawford. There's no way Vasily Lomachenko or Terrence Crawford is in the ranking of Canelo Alvarez or Manny Pacquiao. I'm gonna tell you why. Because these guys have proven themselves. Okay, these guys have faced ATGs. They've faced Hall of Famers. You can't be ranking Vasily Lomachenko and Terrence Crawford ahead of these guys. What Hall of Famer? What Hall of Famer has Terrence Crawford or future Hall of Famer? Let's say, because we could go there. What Hall of Famer or future Hall of Famer has Terrence Crawford faced so far in his career? Let's be real. Do you see anybody on Terrence Crawford's resume who may turn out to be a future Hall of Famer? Let's go there. We can go there, right? What Hall of Famer or future Hall of Famer Vasily Lomachenko has beaten? He has faced a guy who possibly could be in the boxing Hall of Fame in what's his name? The Mexican dude that beat him, Orlando Salido, right? He possibly could get into the boxing Hall of Fame. Possibly. All right? I'm not saying he will, but who else? He got nobody else. Ricky Burns is the closest thing to going into the Boxing Hall of Fame, and New York is Gamboa, and they ain't not going into the Boxing Hall of Fame. They're not. Right? So at the end of the day, and they did a pretty good job, but they not maybe second tier, but not first tier Boxing Hall of Fame, right? Possibly they could get in there. But I'm just saying that he ain't got nobody. Okay? All right, he got nobody. So how could he be pound for pound #1 in the world? That's what I mean, okay. Floyd Mayweather. I'm using Floyd Mayweather. I'm gonna use Manny Pacquiao after. Okay. Floyd Mayweather, when he became pound for pound #1 in the world because both Roy Jones Jr. and Bernard Hopkins lost their fights. He had faced Gennaro Hernandez. Okay? Gennaro Hernandez is in the Boxing Hall of Fame, not the International Boxing Hall of Fame. He's in the World Boxing Hall of Fame, but nonetheless, he's in a Boxing Hall of Fame, like a worldwide Boxing Hall of Fame. All right? Gennaro Hernandez beat people like Azuma Nelson. He beat names like Anatoly Kanasev. He beat what's the kid's name? It's not Alvarez. His nemesis was another guy. I can't remember his name right now, but he beat that dude. Okay, long reigning, undefeated super featherweight. He was the man of his division, right? Beat all kinds of people. All right, some of them was names at the time, and he beat them. Floyd beat him, so he's a boxing Hall of Fame. He hasn't gotten into the International Boxing Hall of Fame yet, I don't think, but it's only a matter of time before he gets in there. Diego Corrales may go into the International Boxing Hall of Fame. Okay, this year he was mentioned on a ballot list. He may go into the Boxing Hall of Fame. Okay, he did more than enough to become that. So now, having said that, I mean, Diego Corrales beat people like, Jose Luis Castillo, Joel Casamayor, Marcelino Freitas, Robert Garcia, and other people. He faced Floyd Mayweather as well. The only guy he didn't beat, right? He fought Joshua Clottey as well. Now, the point, anyways, that these guys don't got nobody. They face nobody, whether faded or otherwise. That's surely a first ballot boxing Hall of Famer. Okay? Manny Pacquiao has faced several people who are going into the Boxing Hall of Fame. In addition, it will not be surprising that Keith Thurman becomes a future Boxing Hall of Famer. Okay? It wouldn't be surprising to me. All right? That's his last win. Now, when we look at Canelo Alvarez, he's also fought and beat several Boxing Hall of Famers. Okay? He's also fought the best boxer in the world, Manny Pacquiao, as well. They lost, but they faced. That means something. Terence Crawford hasn't faced nobody like that. Neither has Vasily Lomachenko. Okay? The best he has faced is Guillermo Rigondeaux. Okay? Legendary fighter. Got 2 gold medals, I think it is. It's undefeated at the time, but had to move up 2 weight classes, but nonetheless, it's undefeated at the time. So. But other than Guillermo Rigondeaux, who does Lomachenko have? Right? He's got some good fighters. But who else does he have? That's it, right? I mean, Jose, what's his name? The Puerto Rican kid who was coached by the Cuban boxer. Forgot what his name is. He beat him. He was Jorge Linares, Venezuelan kid, sorry. Legendary fighter, right? Great fighter. He stopped him. And that's great. He's got some great names early in his career, but he's not done enough, for me, in my opinion, to be pound for pound number 1 in the world. All right, he's done a lot in his 14, 15 fights, whatever fights it is. But he hasn't done enough to be pound for pound number 1 in the world, in my opinion. Terence Crawford the same, right? And if you're ranking Terence Crawford ahead of Lomachenko, then goddamn it, you gotta rank Canelo and Pacquiao ahead of those 2 guys. You got to, you have to, because what you're saying is Lomachenko was compressed and compact, and he's done great things in a short space of time. But Terence Crawford, in a longer space of time, has accomplished quite a lot as well. But because he's had so many fights, he's proven in his track career, because he's had so much longevity, we put him ahead of Lomachenko. Skill-wise, people think he's more skilled as well. Let me ask you guys this question. If Terence Crawford was to face Lomachenko as at some ideal weight, maybe super lightweight, right? They both face each other. Who do you think will win? Would it be Terence Crawford or would it be Lomachenko? Terence Crawford goes up in weight and faces Canelo Alvarez. Who do you think would win? They come at some catch weight. Let's say Terence Crawford come up to super welterweight. Canelo comes down to super welterweight. Or let's say, yeah, why not? Super welterweight. Somehow they got to make that. Or a catch weight between super welterweight and middleweight. So some catch weight, 157 pounds, let's say. Who do you think will win? Terence Crawford or Canelo? Manny Pacquiao comes down to some weight in between. Let's say super lightweight. Lomachenko goes up super lightweight. Manny Pacquiao faces Lomachenko. Who do you think will win, Pacquiao or Lomachenko? You gotta ask yourself this question because pound for pound, that's what it means. It means if these two boxers face each other, who do you think would win? They're saying Lomachenko would beat Pacquiao. They're saying Lomachenko would beat Terence Crawford. They're saying that Terence Crawford would beat Canelo Alvarez. They're saying Lomachenko would beat Canelo Alvarez. That's what they're basically saying. They're saying if these fighters were to face each other at some sort of neutral weight where both of them could make it, the guys higher up the pound for pound list would beat the guys lower down. I just don't believe that. I don't believe Lomachenko is beating Canelo. I could see Terence Crawford beating Canelo, so that's a possibility. But he hasn't really truly proved it yet because he's never faced a Canelo. I don't see, and Canelo has faced a Terence Crawford before. He's faced a lot of fighters like Terence Crawford, let's put it that way. I don't see Lomachenko beating Manny Pacquiao. And we have an ideal situation where Pacquiao and Terence Crawford are in the same weight division. So let's see Pacquiao face Terence Crawford so we can decide who really is pound for pound number one. Because honestly speaking, I don't guarantee that Terence Crawford wipes the floor with Manny Pacquiao. I favor him to win, but I don't see him wiping the floor with Manny Pacquiao. I don't see none of those welterweights wiping the floor with Manny Pacquiao. So what I'm trying to say is they've ranked Manny Pacquiao below Artur Beterbiev, okay? They've ranked him below a whole set of fighters. He's number 10 on the list. They got Canelo somewhere down number 4, number 5 on the list. They got a whole set of other fighters ahead of Canelo. And I'm asking myself, how is that possible? The two best fighters in the world at this present time are Canelo and Manny Pacquiao. How the fuck does the ring have these other names on their list? I don't understand. I don't care if Canelo had close decisions against their opponents. The opponents that Canelo has faced are much better than the opponents that Terence Crawford and Lomachenko have faced. It's just a fact. Manny Pacquiao, the same thing. They are much higher tier A-level fighters. How many A-level or elite fighters has Lomachenko faced? Guillermo Rigondeaux, right? Jorge Linares, who's really a B-plus level fighter, but we'll give him A-level, right? Jorge Linares. And who else? Right? Orlando Salido's not an A-level fighter, and he beat Lomachenko. He's not A-level. Even though he's faced A-level opposition. He faced Mikey Garcia, but Mikey Garcia beat his ass, right? He faced Juan Manuel Marquez. Juan Manuel Marquez beat his ass. Once he stepped up to A-level, he didn't beat A-level fighters. Rocky Martinez, you cannot include. The only A-level fighter he's beaten is Lomachenko. So maybe you could call him A-level. So let's put in Orlando Salido, but he got beat by him, right? So at the end of the day, he only got 2 A-level fighters on his resume. Everybody else is B-plus, B-level, you know, good fighters, but they're not A-level. Let's look at Terence Crawford. How many A-level fighters he's got on his resume? He got a lot of B-level fighters, B-plus level fighters, but how many A-levels? Gamboa. Other than Gamboa, who else? I'm just asking. I'm just asking. Who else? Right? Okay. Let's look at Manny Pacquiao. Recent times. How many A-level fighters has Manny Pacquiao faced? Recent times. Keith Thurman. Timothy Bradley. Right? Keith Thurman and Timothy Bradley. They're A-level fighters. Okay? He also faced Floyd, but Floyd, he lost to Floyd, so we can't include that. Right? That's recently. Let's look at Canelo Alvarez. How many A-level fighters has he faced? It's Gennady Golovkin, Danny Jacobs. Who else? If you're talking recently, Miguel Cotto. That's 3 A-level fighters, one of which is a sure ballot, first ballot Hall of Famer. Right? That's 3. Then he's going to take on Sergey Kovalev, who is an A-level fighter, right? So I got to ask myself, the question, why do they have Lomachenko? Why do they have Terrence Crawford ahead of Manny Pacquiao and Canelo Alvarez? Now, people make the arguments that Canelo Alvarez is not pound for pound number one. I listen to my boy Akai TV. I listen to my boy, what's his name? 68 Scrapbook, Ode to Wisdom, right? I listened to both of them, and they made their cases. But you cannot deny Canelo's resume. You can't deny it. You cannot deny his resume, right? You can't. So at the end of the day, you can say what you want. This man's about to fight a 175 pounder. Unfortunately, he's ranked and rated because of his resume again as the number one 175 pounder. I don't think he's the number one 175 pounder in the division. But because he's faced opposition, always, you have to cater for what the opposition you face. He faced Hall of Famers. He faced notable opposition. You have to rate him as number one. Sergey Kovalev obviously is an A-level fighter for a number of reasons, right? We know, I mean, come on now. He beat Bernard Hopkins, right? He did not beat Andre Ward because Andre Ward was levels above him, right? Andre Ward's not just A-level. He's you know, in another stratosphere. So, you know, Sergey Kovalev did not beat him, but Sergey Kovalev is A-level. Sergey Kovalev is not B level. He's not C level. He's not D level. He is A level. All right. What he does very well. Okay. And that boy can box. And I was watching at him actually some video, and I see what Buddy McGirt is doing. I kind of like what Buddy McGirt is doing with him. Kovalev's going to move around the ring a little bit more. He's going to trap set a little bit more. He's going to try and walk Canelo into traps. I think Buddy McGirt has realized that Canelo has problems with guys that move a lot in the ring. And so they're going to go to Canelo's weakness on that note so that they don't have to infight Canelo and to keep him always uncomfortable. So Canelo is going to have to be coming towards Sergey Kovalev. He's going to have to find Sergey Kovalev. Sergey Kovalev is going to be boxing his ass off. And that's how Sergey Kovalev is going to negate Canelo coming on the inside. And then he's going to try and outpoint Canelo on the outside. Right? And I think that's the best possible strategy. Don't stand in front of Canelo. Box him. Keep moving. Keep turning him. You got to do that with Canelo. And then Kovalev, of course, being the bigger guy with, I think, arguably the harder punching power, can use that to his advantage to eventually accumulate punishment on Canelo and stop him, if possible. Right? Canelo got good defense, though, so we'll see. But that's a very good, effective plan Buddy McGirt has. That's the best plan Sergey Kovalev could have. And he's going to be the crusher as well. When he sees where he can punish Canelo, he's going to try and punish him. But he's going to try and box him and keep him on the end of the jab. And then once he boxes him and Canelo has to respect range, you know, he's going to try and assert himself first early in the fight. And then he's going to box Canelo. So Canelo has to go into the traps. And I think that's the best strategy you could have against Canelo Alvarez. I think it's his best shot at winning the fight. And from what I'm seeing, Buddy McGirt is doing, I think it's brilliant, actually. I think also that another thing that I would give a note to Buddy McGirt with respect to Sergey Kovalev that will increase his chances, seeing that he is soft to the body, seeing that you can't teach him to protect his body right now. You know, you can do certain things, but there's not much you can do to protect his body. But here's the thing, what you can do, which I was thinking about, and the thought came to my mind. I was like, that's a tip to give Buddy McGirt, which he probably thought about anyway. And it's a great game plan. The game plan is not only to trap set Canelo, but also, if you're going to throw the jab, try to throw it in an unpredictable manner. Meaning, don't just be popping the jab all the time, trying to keep a jab in Canelo's face, because he's going to read your jab. He's going to read the rhythm of your jab. So you need to throw feints and mix it up with your jab. Throw feints and mix it up with the jab. Now, that's something that takes years to really do to perfect. But what Buddy can teach him is one particular kind of feint to mix in with the jab. And don't teach him that. In fact, look at what Sergey Kovalev naturally does and let him do more of that. whatever the feint is, whatever he naturally does, let him do more of that inside of what he usually do. Because at this point in time, you can't teach him nothing new. What you need to do is let him add or use things more that he usually use, but he don't use enough. So that's what Buddy need to do with Sergey Game. Not teach him something new because that ain't making no sense. His muscle memory gonna have certain things. Now just do it more. Do more of this. Do more of that. That's what you got to do with a fighter who is already established, already got their own style down pat. You don't try to change the style. You don't try to teach them new things. What you really want them to do is do more of the things they already do, but do more of certain things and tweak certain things. You know, Kovalev got decent footwork, decent foot speed. You know, and he's a very good boxer. So I think Buddy should just let him do more of certain things that he's good at doing, and don't try to teach him nothing new, really. You know, just let him do more of what he already got in his arsenal, and that's the key. I think it's not so much trying to make Sergey Kovalev into a new guy, add new wrinkles to his game. That's too late for that. That ship has sailed. It's to get him to do more of what he already does. Just apply it in a specific way with a specific game plan in mind. I think that's the way to go with Sergey Kovalev, and it'll increase his chances of not getting stopped by Canelo for sure. You know, and who knows, he might even pull off the fight. So there is a game plan that possibly they can use to beat Canelo. We think. I don't know. I mean, it might work for a certain period of time, but I know Canelo's gonna close that distance. He's definitely gonna do it because Canelo's got a lot of tricks up his sleeve and a lot of things he can do. So we'll see what Kovalev can do to try and sort of offset Canelo. But definitely Canelo going to get you. Canelo going to find you and going to get you. That's one of the things that Canelo don't really like doing. So that's a trick that Kovalev should be doing. Of course, Canelo did go get Amir Khan, but then again, Amir Khan was hitting Canelo with a lot of shots too. So if Kovalev can get Canelo to go get him more than he going to get Canelo, I think that increases his chances. So he can counterpunch and keep Canelo at the end of the stick more. Because you see, it's not just jabbing, it's about footwork as well. How you use your footwork with the jab. And he may use tight circles to circle Canelo and jab off the pivot and stuff like that. So we'll see how it works. See if Kovalev can pull that off. And that definitely will increase his chances against Canelo of winning the fight. You know, he's going to get hit to the body. All right, that's going to happen. But, you know, with Kovalev, because what Buddy McGirt and they should bank on somewhat is that Kovalev is a much bigger fighter than Canelo, you know, in terms of fighting at a certain weight class. Kovalev has fought at, you know, light heavyweight for a long time, and he's been a big light heavyweight. So we got to count on that. We got to count on Kovalev, you know, being able to, because of that size, to be able to protect his body. And you get it, but you can't guarantee that. So one of the coolest things is to use his feet as defense more than using his hands, because he doesn't get his hand back in position in time. So he'll have to use pivot work, which he already uses. He knows how to bring his hands back, but he doesn't always do it. So you need to rely on his feet so that when Canelo comes down a certain line, he already pivots out of the way of that. You got to have this time in down pat so that he could turn, and therefore he might have a shot at Canelo, then Canelo have a shot at him. You know, so it increases his chances again of winning the fight. These are some of the things Kovalev can do. I don't have to say what Canelo need to do because Canelo know what he need to do to shut all that shit down. But it'll increase his chances of winning the fight, and that's what you want to do. You want to win a fight, you know. But back to what I was saying about Kovalev. Kovalev should be ranked higher than Terence Crawford and Vasily Lomachenko, mainly based on his resume, which is why he's the #1 light heavyweight in the world at this point in time. According to the Ring, it's because of his resume. So that's why I don't understand, because the Ring is kind of inconsistent. Canelo and Manny Pacquiao, their resume is way better. And I'm talking about their recent resume. I'm not talking about, like, you know, going 5 years back or even 3 years back. I'm talking about their recent resume is far better than anything Terence Crawford's resume has, or anything that Vasily Lomachenko has. And so I just don't understand why these guys are not ranked higher. You know, yes, if you lose a fight, you come off of the pound for pound list. You know, and Pacquiao did lose to Jeff Horn, so I can understand that. But I mean, the number one rankings. But other than the Jeff Horn fight, after the Jeff Horn fight, he fought, if I'm not mistaken, it was Adrian Broner, Lucas Matisse, and now he's faced Keith Thurman, right? That's a hell of a resume. You know, that's a better resume than Terrence Crawford's recent resume, right? Terrence Crawford has faced Jeff Horn, who beat Manny Pacquiao. Then he faced what's the kid's name? Jose Benavidez. And after he beat Jose Benavidez, he beat Amir Khan. That's his resume. I mean, Amir Khan is a name, right? Not a show ballot Hall of Famer, but he's a name. And I mean, he's got a better resume than say Keith Thurman, but that's mostly at super lightweight. And then you got Jeff Horn, who beat Manny Pacquiao, right? That's his resume. Lomachenko, his recent resume is Luke Campbell, Jose Pedraza, who's a hell of a fighter, two divisional world champion, and Jorge Linares, who's a hell of a fighter as well. So those are good, solid wins. Don't get me wrong, good, solid wins. You know, his resume looks really good, but when you compare it with Canelo and you compare it with Pacquiao, the resume pales in comparison. Okay, Adrian Broner, 4 divisional world champion, wasn't a world champion at the time, but you know, and fucking Keith Thurman, unified welterweight champion. Okay, WBC super, WBA super welterweight, super WBA welterweight champion, right? You know, he's a super champion. When you look at Canelo, his last fucking 3 fights was who was it? It was Gennady Golovkin, and Danny Jacobs. It's fucking crazy. Okay, right? You're talking about a guy who was esteemed as the pound for pound number 1 fighter in the world, and then the number 2 middleweight in the world, who was a world champion. Both were world champions when he beat them. Okay, Manny Pacquiao beat 1 world champion, right? Lomachenko beat 2 world champions, I believe it was. He beat Jorge Linares. I don't know if he faced Jorge Linares. I think it was Jorge Linares. Then it was a bit, but I bet no, it wasn't that. I just remembered. It was Luke Campbell, Anthony Corolla, and Jose Pedraza. That's what it was. So he faced 1 world champion, 1 former world champion, and or say former world titleist, because he didn't stay world champion for very long. And then he faced also a number 1 titleist contender. Okay, that's how it went. With Manny Pacquiao, he faced a paper champion. He faced a former 4 divisional world champion, and then he faced a world champion at welterweight. With Canelo Alvarez, he faced in his 2 fights 2 fucking world champions. One was a unified world champion, and the other one was the IBF world champion. That's how the fuck it goes. That's crazy. You know, when you look at it, Canelo's resume is wickeder than all of them. You know, and so whether people want to acknowledge Canelo as pound for pound number 1 or not, that motherfucker is pound for pound number 1, whether we like it or not. You know, the only other guy close to him is Manny Pacquiao. Them other guys can come behind him. But there's no way how you can have Manny Pacquiao behind Lomachenko or Terrence Crawford, in my opinion. Okay? And we all know, while I favor Terrence Crawford to win over Manny Pacquiao, I really can't say, because Manny Pacquiao has always defied the odds. And Terrence Crawford's a smart fighter and everything, and he's seen Floyd beat him, but I just don't know. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. Definitely Pacquiao beats Lomachenko. That's hands down. Pacquiao beats Lomachenko. He's just faced way better competition than Lomachenko. Pacquiao beats Lomachenko, right? So how can you rate Lomachenko ahead of Pacquiao? I don't understand. I don't understand how you can have Terrence Crawford ahead of Pacquiao. Pacquiao got a better resume than Terrence Crawford, and on top of that, we don't even know if Terrence Crawford would definitively beat Manny Pacquiao. We don't know. I'll be honest with you. We don't know. You know, He's not the number one welterweight in the division, Terrence Crawford. Unanimously, you guys in polls said Manny Pacquiao is the number one welterweight in the division. Obviously, Errol Spence is ahead of Terrence Crawford because he's a unified champion as well. So it's just like, I don't understand, and then Terrence Crawford ain't faced nobody in the welterweight division that's on par with what even Errol Spence has faced, right? And then when we look at Canelo Alvarez, like I'm saying again, I'm going to repeat it again. Canelo Alvarez got a better resume, okay? If Canelo was to face Terrence Crawford, we really don't know if Terrence Crawford would beat Canelo. We don't know. It's the truth. We just don't know, right? We don't know. Because Canelo, some people thought Aristotle Lara would beat Canelo. Some people thought that Danny Jacobs would beat Canelo. They didn't beat him. So who was to say that Errol Spence or Terrence Crawford would beat Canelo? We don't know. And then when you look at Manny Pacquiao versus Terrence Crawford, we don't know. We don't know. Well, definitely Lomachenko wouldn't beat. I don't think Lomachenko would beat. He wouldn't beat Canelo. I'm gonna tell you why. Like I said before, Lomachenko's a mid-range fighter. All those Ukrainian fighters, they fight at mid-range, right? Some of them can fight on the outside, but most of the time they fight at mid-range. The thing about that is, Lomachenko, like I said before, if you're boxing him, he always looking to go weak side. Guess what? Canelo can fight on the inside like Orlando Salido. You know how that fight goes. Right? Canelo can fight. If Orlando Salido could beat him, because once you can fight on the inside or you fight on the outside, this dude, you can beat him. All right? And so Canelo can both fight on the outside. He can fight at mid-range and he can fight on the inside. Guess what? Canelo would go on the inside, bully his ass, and beat him up. All right? Canelo will beat Lomachenko. All right? So all you people saying, oh, Lomachenko rank higher than Canelo, come on, man. I could tell you for a fact, Lomachenko only got one range at which he fights, like Manny Pacquiao. The only difference is Manny Pacquiao faced better opposition. Manny Pacquiao is unorthodox. Lomachenko is textbook. And I just think that Manny Pacquiao would beat Lomachenko because he's faster than Lomachenko. He's quicker than Lomachenko. He's surprising with his combinations. I just don't see Lomachenko beating Manny Pacquiao. All right? Which is why Lomachenko don't even win that fight, right? But when it comes to Manny Pacquiao versus Lomachenko, Manny Pacquiao beats Lomachenko. It's just what it is. When it comes to, well, I would love to see it still. When it comes to Canelo versus Lomachenko, Canelo got the style to beat Lomachenko. He fight on the inside. All right? He fight on the inside and beat Lomachenko. That's just what it is. All right? Lomachenko cannot fight people on the inside and he cannot fight people on the outside. He fights at mid-range. He's very good at fighting mid-range like Manny Pacquiao is. And he does it in a more orthodox way. But that's what he do. He don't do more than that. All right, let's talk some other hot topics. So back to what I was saying about I started mentioning Canelo going up 2 weight divisions to face Sergey Kovalev. I mean, come on now. All right. Lomachenko never went up 2 divisions to face nobody. Terrence Crawford didn't just go up 2 weight divisions to face nobody. Only Mikey Garcia, Guillermo Rigondeaux, of recent times, let me see who else is doing that. Has done that. They failed, both of them, right? So Canelo now is going up 2 divisions to face Sergey Kovalev. And note, all these guys went to face the number 1 fighter. So Canelo is going to face the number 1 light heavyweight. Mikey went up to face the number 1 welterweight. And Guillermo Rigondeaux went up to face the number 1 super featherweight. Okay? That's what it is. It is what it is. Now, the question is, will Canelo win? If he beats Sergey Kovalev, Canelo now does something that Manny Pacquiao did it as well. He went up 2 weight divisions and faced Oscar De La Hoya and beat him. Fucking Lomachenko ain't done that. Terrence Crawford ain't done that. How the fuck they could be pound for pound ahead of these 2 guys? I mean, I'm just asking questions, man. I don't know. These guys prove they pound for pound. Now, Terrence Crawford has gone up 3 weight classes now, right? Lightweight, super lightweight, and welterweight. He's gone up 3 divisions, okay? Lomachenko, he came up from featherweight, super featherweight, lightweight. He's gone up 3 divisions, right? Both of them going up 3 divisions. Now, you got to ask yourself this question, man. You have to ask yourself this question. Hold on a second. Tommy Temper, there he is. So you got to ask yourself this question. Pacquiao is going up. Has gone up. He's gone through 10 divisions. He's gone up 8. He's had 8 divisional titles. He's gone through 10 fucking divisions. Okay. Canelo is going up into his fourth division. Okay, this will be his fourth division. When Canelo fights Kovalev, if he beats Kovalev, that would be his third divisional title. Oh, shit. Fuck it. I said it wrong. Canelo is going to go up 6 divisions. He started off at super lightweight. So Canelo, this will be his 6th weight class that he'll be in. All right. Now you tell me, who's the proven pound for pound up here? Canelo's gone through 5 divisions so far. This will be his 6th division. He started off at super lightweight, just for y'all to know. Okay? Fucking Terrence Crawford ain't done that shit. Lomachenko ain't done that shit. The proven pound for pound fighters literally have gone through so many different divisions. Canelo about to go through more divisions than Floyd Mayweather. Canelo's about to go through more divisions than most fighters in boxing. You praised Thomas Hearns for going through 6 divisions, right? How the fuck you can't praise Canelo for doing that? You got to reward the dude for doing that. Now, he has to beat Sergey Kovalev, but at the end of the day, that'll be 6 weight class. Terrence Crawford ain't done that shit. Lomachenko ain't done that shit. How could you guys rate these guys ahead of these dudes? I'm just saying. They proven pound for pound. They showing you. They going through different weight classes, pound for pound. I mean, I don't know what to say, man. I just don't get it. I don't get how these people don't realize who the real pound for pounds are. I just don't get it. I really don't. Canelo hasn't lost since 2013. But he's, what, number 4 or number 5 on the pound for pound list? Get the freaking hell out of here. Manny Pacquiao lost recently to Jeff Horn. That's his fault. So he slips a bit. But he recoups himself. So even if he's not number 1 pound for pound, he got to be 2 or 3. Come on, man. I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know how people rank pound for pound. I don't know how Ring Magazine rank pound for pound. But definitely, 1 and 2 pound for pound in the world right now, I think it's Canelo and Manny Pacquiao. Period. You know, that's just what it is. For all the other people who are talking about Canelo's not pound for pound number 1, y'all giving some extraneous reasons that have nothing to do with the actual fights, have nothing to do with the actual resume of the guys, right? You guys are talking all kinds of extra out of boxing stuff. Oh, people's opinions on who won the fight, and this dude is doping and all kinds of crazy shit. They had nothing to do with it. Because listen, there was a time when Roy Jones Jr. was pound for pound number 1. Guess what? Roy Jones Jr. was caught using doping. What that mean? He wasn't pound for pound number 1. I mean, come on, guys. You gotta stop talking out your ass sometimes, man. I'm just saying. You know, Akai Sports TV say because he didn't face Jamal Charlo and he didn't face Demetrius Andrade, he's not pound for pound. Come on, man. That's a lame way to look at things, man. You have to look at the person's resume, what they have done. And that's what you look at. You don't look at feelings and emotions and whether you thought this fighter should face that fighter. You have to look at what they've done. Okay? That's what makes them pound for pound number 1. We don't know if Canelo will face Demetrius Andrade or Jamal Charlo in the future. He probably will. As of now, he's not facing them. He's facing Sergey Kovalev. Let's see if he can get past him. Okay? If he gets past Sergey Kovalev, you got to give him pound for pound number 1. You got to. Whether you like it or not. I think it's a shit fight, but nonetheless, you got to give him pound for pound number 1 because he went up. He faced, according to Ring Magazine, not to me, I think Artur Beterbiev is the number 1 light heavyweight in that light heavyweight division. That's what I think. But they got Sergey Kovalev as the number 1 light heavyweight in the light heavyweight division. That's how the Ring has him. I don't agree, but that's what the Ring has. So when he faces Sergey Kovalev, who I think he's the weakest of the champions out there, okay? And Sergey Kovalev, if he beats Sergey Kovalev, it's huge because what it means in pound for pound rankings is he beat the guy who beat the guy who, no, sorry, my bad. He beat the guy who beat living legends. He beat Bernard Hopkins, a living legend, okay? He got the opportunity to beat Bernard Hopkins. And you can't ignore that. Lost to Andre Ward. Got back his title against I forgot who he beat to get the WBO title, and then he faced Elito Alvarez, lost it, and then he went rematched Elito Alvarez and got back his title. Okay, and he caught hell to face to get his to defend his title, but he defended his title successfully as well. All right, and say what you want, the man has done those things. Those things are recorded in history. You cannot deny that shit, right? And all the other light heavyweights right now, they haven't done stuff like that. They just haven't, right? So whether I personally feel that Artur Beterbiev is a better fighter than Sergey Kovalev is irrelevant. It's what it is. So if Canelo beat Sergey Kovalev on paper, he would have beaten the number one light heavyweight in the division. That's what it is, right? And kudos to Canelo on that, if he does it, if he pulls it off. With respect to Sergey Kovalev, if he beats Canelo, I guarantee you, he moves all the way up the pound for pound rankings to pound for pound number one, because Canelo has face names. He will be the number one pound for pound fighter in the world just like that. Just like that. If not number one, number two. If not number two, number three. Because Canelo has built a really incredible legacy, and he is definitely going to be a future Hall of Famer. He's heading in that direction. He's not yet. I don't consider him a Hall of Famer as yet. I think he has to do more to become a first ballot Hall of Famer, but he close to getting there and becoming an all-time great. And he got a long ways to go. He got a long career ahead of him because he is very, very young. He's now in his prime, so physical prime, that is. So he got a long ways to go. So Canelo's going to do some incredible things. I think between 175 and 154, he's going to do all his work. I don't think he's going to go up to cruiserweight. All right, peoples. Hold on a second. All right, so shout out to Tommy Temper. I just saw your comment, Tommy Temper. You said, see you. All right, people. So I'm going to get out of here. I just wanted to leave one video. I'm going to go get some things and get something to eat. I haven't eaten lunch. That's never good because I gather gas and stuff. But yeah, I'm going to go get something to eat. Peace to you guys out there in boxing land. There's a lot more I wanted to talk about. One of them was Claressa Shields. Just listening to all her interviews, and she keeps on bombing people's interviews and coming in there and talking. But there's a particular opponent of Claressa Shields that I really should have paid attention to. In her very first fight, she was talking about the toughest opponent she had, which was her very first fight. And that lady who fought in her very first fight, she's right now fighting at super middleweight, and she is actually she's actually a unified world champion, WBC. I think it's WBC, WBO, or WBA champion. And she said that was the toughest fight. And I've been following Claressa Shields. Of course, I do want to see Claressa face Terrence Crawford in a 3-rounder. I think eventually we will get that. We'll get that fight at some point in time. Chris has talked about how she's really mostly a middleweight. She's not really a super middleweight. And she says she ain't looking forward to facing that other lady. They had a 4 rounder, I think it was. Both of them debuting. But yeah, Clarissa Shields, man, there's other women coming up in boxing who you guys need to keep your eyes out for. And I was watching at the WBC convention, all the WBC former and present world champions, and it was crazy, man. Seeing all those people up on that stage. So I left a comment saying, "Could somebody identify and name all the WBC champions on the stage of the Cancun, Mexico WBC conference?" I don't know if anybody could actually name them all. There's a lot from the past and the present. It's crazy, man. I almost challenge people to, know their boxing. And I don't even know half of those people. And they were men and women up on top of there. And I know a lot of people are talking about, hold on a second, people. I hate this fucking. On the outside, we have rich manure and topsoil for your lawn, kitchen garden, and other plants. Yes, check us out. It's so fucking annoying. All right, so anyway, yes, people. So yeah, I was listening to all that, and I was like, man, I need to go check out all these people, man. I don't know all these people. So we gotta go do our homework. Man, I gotta get out of here. I'm really sorry. I can't stay longer. There's a bunch of other topics I wanted to talk about. One of them was possible matchup between. Well, we know already Daniel Jacobs will be facing Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. So that fight's on. But I heard that Chris Eubank, who's he gonna face, man? I think it's who were they talking about? Somebody facing Chris Eubank. It's a good fight. It's a good matchup. Who is it? Facing Chris Eubank. I saw it. It's announced. It's official. It's a good matchup, I think. Who is it? Who is it? God damn it. Chris Eubank's gonna be facing shit. I know the fighter, but I just can't remember what their name is. For some reason, I just drew a blank. It's a good fight. It's a good fight. It's a good matchup. I'm looking forward to it. The fighter. What's the fucking fighter's name? God damn it, man. I hate when I forget things like that. Hold on a second. I'm gonna find it. Definitely a good test. I'll tell you guys right now. Oh, motherfucker. God damn it. Forget how slow this fucking thing is. It's announced, but I don't know if it's up on BoxRec. I hope it is. Yeah. Korobov's going to be facing Chris Eubank. That's a good fight. Korobov's a good fighter. Yeah, Matvey Korobov be facing Chris Eubank. That's a good fight. I like to see how he does against Korobov. Korobov always, puts in the work. Chris Eubank is a big fucking strong super middleweight, so should be a good fight. Looking forward to it. A lot of people talking about the Reggie Prograis fight versus Josh Taylor. You know what my prediction is. I got Prograis winning that fight. Definitely. Josh Taylor, I don't have him winning the fight. I have Prograis winning the fight. With respect to the undercard, which is Price versus what's the fucking guy's name? I forgot the guy's name again. I don't know why I draw blanks like that. But with respect to that fight with David Price versus Derek Chisora. I got Chisora. I think he should be able to beat David Price. I know David Price is longer and taller than him. He uses reach and length, but I think Chisora still gets him at the end of the day. I think he's a much better boxer too. Um, we got some shitty fights coming up, but you know, I think those two are good. Hold on a second. Wenyan Manustin is going to be fighting over the weekend as well. I think he's facing a South African dude, Simpiwe Konko. Of course, I got Manustin on that one. Robert East is going to be facing Adrian Granados. I got Adrian Granados, but Robert Easter can pull it off. I don't know. It's kind of an evenly matched fight, I think. Even though Robert Easter is moving up to super lightweight, I think it's still an evenly matched fight. I got Shakur Stevenson versus Joet Gonzalez. I think I got Shakur Stevenson on that. Ricky Burns versus Lee Selby. I got Lee Selby on that one. Miguel Barachelt versus Jason Sosa. That's a good ass fight. I don't know. Jason Sosa was a former world champion. I'm gonna say Miguel Barachelt, but Sosa could pull it off. It's very possible. Well, that is in November. That's the following weekend, after this weekend. And of course, Saul Canelo Alvarez will face Sergey Kovalev that weekend as well. And I got Canelo, of course, by knockout. Javier Fortuna, he's going to be facing Jesus Cuela. And I got Fortuna, but Cuela could take it. I got Katie Taylor versus Christina Leonard Tadou, or like Tada. And I think that Katie Taylor should beat her, but you just never know. And so I think Katie Taylor is moving up in weight, actually. So I think Leonard Tadou could actually take that. So we'll see. But those are the fights between this week and next week that I'm looking at. And also you got the Hammer. I forgot what his real name is. He's going to be facing an opponent. I got the Hammer winning that one too. So those are the predictions for the upcoming fights. I think in boxing we got a lot of good things going on. A lot of good things coming up. Hopefully the fighters come into the ring. They can leave the ring healthy. That's always a prominent, very important thing. I think that with boxing, it's kind of unpredictable, but you can always look at how the fighters are progressing, what they're doing, how they approach things, and be able to determine who will win, who will lose, that kind of thing. I'll look into more detail. If I got to change my picks, I'll change my picks as time goes along. Certain fights I will not be watching, but definitely on the zone, I will be watching Josh Taylor versus Reggie Prograis. And I think that's about it. I'll be looking at over the weekend. And Chisora versus David Price. I think Chisora takes that. So I'm not really, but yeah, those are the fights that I'm really looking forward to. What else do I have to say? Not really much more. Stay tuned for Canelo versus Triple G, the first fight. No, sorry, I always go wrong. Look out for Deontay Wilder versus Tyson Fury, the first fight. Okay, and then after that, I'll do Canelo versus Triple G, the first fight. Okay, and then after that, we're going to do Derevyanchenko versus Triple G, their fight, and then we're going to do Canelo versus Triple G, the second fight. Okay, or maybe I should do Canelo versus Triple G, the second fight, and then Derevyanchenko versus Triple G. You guys got any other fights that you would like me to go through? Let me know, and I'll go through those fights as well. When we can score it together, I'll try to do it live if possible. It depends on if I get a strike or not. I saw I could do the Sugar Ray Leonard all the way through. I didn't know that. If I knew that, I would just done the whole thing as one continuous live stream. But it's all good. We did this live stream. I'll catch you guys later. May put out something tonight. Don't forget, you guys can donate to my channel. Share it with other people too, so other people can know these videos. Go put it in, different boxing groups and stuff, so they can get to know what you need. Because, like I said before, we're trying to monetize this channel. We're trying to make some money off of it. But at the same time, we're also trying to not compromise educating people on boxing. What you need. Deuces to you guys. Some questions to ask the fighters. That was another thing that went through my mind. Some of the questions that sometimes I don't hear these reporters asking fighters. Like, a lot of times the person asking the question never asks the fighter when the fighter says, I think that this guy would beat this guy. Say, well, can you demonstrate a little something of what you're saying? They don't really ever ask the boxers to demonstrate because if there's anything about boxing, it's less about talk and it's more about showing people things, right? You want to show people this guy could beat that guy. Then you kind of go through it. Okay, this guy, he does this, 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 this. This guy does this, 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 this. So when you look at the two styles, this guy might need to do this to win the fight. This guy might need to do this to win the fight. But when I see this guy, he do this, so that it seems to counter this guy and that kind of thing. Just basic little things. They don't need to go into too much detail. Just the deciding factor, something that's the deciding factor, and why they may have picked a guy or not picked a guy. But I was listening to, I think it was, who was I thinking of? Somebody. Oh yeah, it was. Hold on. It was Anthony Durrell, and they asked the question, a hypothetical question: if Jamal Charlo faced David Benavidez, they asked Anthony Durrell, seeing you face David Benavidez, do you think that Jamal Charlo could beat David Benavidez? To which I love the answer that Anthony Durrell actually gave, because actually it's true. Anthony Durrell said, I faced David Benavidez, but I never faced Jamal Charlo. So I can't tell you if Jamal Charlo could beat David Benavidez. I can't tell you if he will win or he will lose. It will be a good matchup. I like that, because what he's saying is, and again, this makes sense. If you have sparred both fighters, or if you fought both fighters, it's totally different to if you just fought one fighter. Now, take for instance, when Sean Porter talked about him facing Errol Spence, and he thought that Terence Crawford would beat Errol Spence, the question really that lies in that is, did Sean Porter ever face Terence Crawford? If Sean Porter has never faced Terence Crawford, then he can't definitively say that Terence Crawford would beat Errol Spence. See, he hasn't really faced Terence Crawford. So that he could say, okay, based on what Terence Crawford brings to the table and based on what Errol Spence brings to the table, that I see, in my opinion, this guy beats this guy. Now, he gave reasons, right? But just like us out here, we've never faced either fighter. So we can't definitively say, well, this guy, I think, would beat this guy, because we never really faced either fighter. And even if I faced one style and I faced another style, it doesn't necessarily mean that how those styles meet each other would be the same way how they met me, because it's a triangular argument. But I can still give my input and my opinion based on facing both styles, right? Doesn't necessarily mean my opinion is correct. So like in boxing, for instance, I'm making predictions based on things I kind of know about the style of Canelo versus the style of Kovalev, right? But as we all know, boxing goes beyond that. And really, like I've said before, the best way for someone to really know a boxer and what they do in the ring is to actually face them. All right, that's the best experience, that's best knowledge. You definitively know, okay, this is what this guy brings to the table. I know because I faced the dude. Because watching it from afar, which is what we do as fight fans, we see it from a distance, and we're not seeing it up close and personal, meaning we're not in that ring facing that guy, watching him throw punches at us, watching those punches whiz by our heads or whiz by our body or land on us and feel the impact of those punches. We don't have that experience as fight fans, right? We're just sitting on the sidelines watching the fight. We get a good view of the fight and we can see when the momentum is changing and stuff, but we don't really experience the fight like how the boxers do. All right, it's just what it is. And if you and I was to experience just one punch that went through the guard and hit us somewhere on the body by one of the boxers, we wouldn't want to experience it anymore. I always listen to people say, it was a question that they asked Sean Porter, and Sean Porter gave an honest answer. And a lot of you guys, again, a lot of fight fans get caught up in power and how hard a boxer hit and all that shit. So it was the gentleman from Fight Hub. He asked Sean Porter, how hard does Errol Spence hit? So what did Sean Porter answer him back? He said, well, okay, how you can find out that is to go in the ring and let Errol Spence hit you. I thought it was perfect. It was the right answer, because a lot of times people ask questions that really how do I say, they're really dumb questions. Like, this is a stupid question, but they always ask it. They ask it over and fucking over, and they want the boxer to give them something sensational. So the boxer will say, man, he hit like a freight train. Man, he hit like a Mack truck. Man, he hit so hard, I felt my insides rattle. They want to hear that kind of shit, right? But for the first time, they got the truth. Sean Porter telling them, and you know, guys like Shane Mosley always play to them, Oscar De La Hoya always playing to them. But for the first time, you know, fucking, what's his name? Ah, shit, Sean Porter, right? Told the truth. When you're zoned in and focused in, you're not really feeling punches because you're so focused in and dialed in on what you're doing that you're just tunnel minded. And even when you get hit with a good shot, you acknowledge it's a good shot, but you really don't know. You're not rating it. You're not focused on the shot. No, none of that shit. You focus on what you have to do. And I think that's the best way for some people to understand that in boxing, when you're in a fight, you know you're gonna get hit, right? You don't want to get hit, but you know you're gonna get hit. And when you get hit, you know, what are you gonna do? And a guy like Sean Porter who keeps coming, even if you hit him, you can see why. His mentality is such that he's so fucking focused in and zoned in on what he's doing. And he's not even paying attention to the fact that you hit him. Yeah, he's not trying to get hit, but he's not really paying attention to that. His body's so strong as well. So that you find that he doesn't really rate power on any shit like that. Now, on the other hand, Clarissa Shields, she talked about how the girl who she faced, the woman who she faced the first time around, she hit her with a body shot, and she remembered that body shot for 3 days. It was stinging. She was tender for 3 days. Okay, but as a body shot though, and body shots get your attention, right? That's what they say. I've been hit in real life to the body, and it's not cool. And I've been hit to the head, and it's not cool either. But I'm not used to getting hit, right? But I will say that a lot of times people talk about this power shit, and I don't know why people focus on that. But I'm not saying that power is not a factor in a fight. Of course, it is a factor. Okay, punching power and how hard you hit and all that shit, right? Knockouts and all that shit is important. You don't want to get hit. Period. Not trying to get hit, right? But at the end of the day, I feel like they waste the question on something that they could have asked, like, Sean, we saw you handle Errol Spence, and you gave him a tough, hard fought fight. What we really want to know, Sean, is how did you know, what did you find in Errol Spence's game that allowed you, or what do you have in your game? Could you break down a little bit of your game and what you did against Errol Spence now that the fight is over? Could you just tell us a couple things that you actually do in there? Just a couple of things, not a whole bunch, that you're capable of doing. We saw it, but some of it we would like you to just kind of walk us through step by step what you do that made it possible for you to get that win. You know, another good question that they asked him, and he really tweaked on it, was he said, you know, he had to work on his defense a little bit more. And he talked also about sort of engaging at certain points and other times pulling away from the engagement. So the other guy does not equalize. He doesn't equalize the he doesn't get a shot back in. So this is part of defense, really. What he's saying is he don't stay in the pocket too long. You get in the pocket, right? You engage, you get your shots off and stuff, and you get out of the pocket. The reason why, so he can get a clean, clear win, because they were talking about what he could do to get a clean, clear win. And he really made sense to me. But like I said before, just getting people to break down, to understand, Sean Porter kind of talking to them about the kind of skills he has, and just enlighten people on what he actually did and what he brings to the table. Because I think a lot of times people don't understand how many different things Sean Porter did in that ring. I would love somebody to ask him a question like that, instead of how hard fucking Errol Spence hits, which doesn't have nothing to do with a fucking fight. If you look at the fight, yeah, Errol Spence hit him hard. Yeah, his hand touched the canvas and shit. But Sean Porter was also hitting hard. Okay? He got Errol Spence's attention. He was hitting hard. Okay? So it's not like you're doing like if only one guy was hitting hard in that whole fucking fight. No. It wasn't that. Both of them hit hard. Okay? Errol Spence, we all know, is not really a one punch hitter quitter anyway, right? He wears you down, he grinds you down, he works the body, right? That's what Errol Spence do. You look at Artur Beterbiev. Another guy said it too. I can't remember who it was. I think it was David Benavidez, one of them, was talking about how Artur Beterbiev, he breaks fighters down. He break you down, he break you down, he break you down, and then he stops you. He has heavy hands, yes, but he's not a one punch hitter quitter necessarily. He just break you down, right? And the whole point behind that is Kovalev more have a one punch hitter quitter power, and still he's got heavy hands mostly, right? So again, it's not like people make this big deal about power. You know, even with Deontay Wilder, they talk about his power, his power, his power, his power, his power. Listen, man, yeah, he been sleeping everybody that he's faced so far, except for Tyson Fury, and even Tyson Fury he knocked down, right? Cool, but at the end of the day, it's a technique he's using. He's very quick. He's very fast. He hits you with the shot crisp, clear, and fast. The speed meeting with his torque is what his technique is what allows him to knock out people, right? Pooby Sistrunk. Pooby Sistrunk, what's up, my brother? Sean Porter said Crawford would beat Spence, so there is no way Shields would survive. First of all, you probably missed my video, right? And what I said early on. I said Porter has faced Errol Spence. We do not know if Porter has ever faced Terrence Crawford. Okay? Whether in sparring or whatever. So if Porter is saying that, that's his opinion. But unless he has faced Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence, he cannot definitively say anything about Terrence Crawford, can he now? He's just basing it on the ring savvy that Crawford has. He's not talking about the power and all of that shit. Again, y'all get caught up in power. He's not talking about the power. He's talking about the ring savvy that Terrence can do a number of things. Errol Spence can do it too, he's saying, but he thought that Errol Spence was not all that. But he hasn't faced Terrence Crawford. Until he faces Terrence Crawford, he can really make that assessment. And again, remember, in Styles Make Fights, his particular style against Terrence Crawford is not the same thing as Errol's particular style against Terrence Crawford. So even his assessment will be based off of his style and how they handled his style. So asking a guy who's faced both fighters who he thinks would win is based on how he thought they fared against his style. It's still a triangular theory. It's really not factual. It's not saying that, okay, these guys, when they face each other, this is what will happen. You really don't, he still doesn't know. He's still speculating. The only way we really know for sure how one style of a fighter will face up against another style of a fighter is when they fight. Right? It's boxing. We make predictions and shit, but we're not always right. Sometimes we're right, sometimes we're wrong, right? The only way, truthfully, you can know what really will go down is if both fighters go into the ring and face one another. That's the truth. That's the only time you really actually know, which is why we watch boxing fights. We don't watch predictions, right? So, but we all know this already. But nonetheless, what I'm saying to you is that, first of all, Claressa Shields, like I said before, actually she said she is a middleweight. She said she's a middleweight. She's not really a super middleweight. She's really truly a middleweight. But she can go down to 154. She cannot go down to 147. She's too big for 147. So that's what Claressa Shields really is. She's a middleweight. That's what she said. She said pushing up to light heavy, if the money's right, she'll go up to light heavy. But I don't think there are any champions at light heavy, to be honest with you. Yeah. So anyway, we're talking about 3-rounder with Claressa Shields versus Terrence Crawford. And no, Terrence Crawford ain't doing shit to Claressa Shields like that. He's not going to stop her and murder her and all that shit. That's bullshit. That's complete and utter bullshit. Claressa Shields has sparred a lot of guys. Lots and lots of fellas. Okay? So, nah, I don't believe that. She is a world-class boxer at the highest level, even if it's in female boxing. And women's boxing has come a long way. There's no fucking way in hell that Terrence Crawford going to stop her within 3 rounds. It's just not going to happen, okay? What I do want to know, though, is how she would fare, how she would actually perform. You know, what kind of fight we would get. I would love to see that. That's what I would love to see. And sure as hell, I'm pushing for something like that to happen. I don't know how soon it'll happen, but I'm pushing for it. I listened to Clarissa Shields talking about sparring guys too. She talked about it in a video, and she even wanted to spar Badou Jack. Badou Jack's a 175 pounder, which is, again, you know, as Clarissa Shields was correctly saying, weight in a way in boxing, and weight classes don't necessarily mean, how do I put this? Because I got to be careful what I say. She was saying, this is what she was saying. She was saying weight doesn't necessarily matter. It's about skill to some degree. Okay? To some degree, I agree with her. Meaning, Canelo is going up to his 6th weight class. Okay? He started off at super lightweight. He's going up now to light heavy. His 6th fucking weight class. Okay? In the case of Canelo, he's proven the point that weight don't mean shit. He has a limit to how far up he can go. But the point is, because he has the fundamentals down so well, he's able to go up that far. Okay? So that's what's going on with Canelo. In the case of Manny Pacquiao, well, he definitely showing weight ain't shit, right? He also went up multiple weight classes. So to some degree, I understand what Clarissa Shields is saying. And I'm not just talking about going up weight classes, but what I mean is when you have the fundamentals down pat and you're really good with the fundamentals, you know, you can compete at multiple weight classes. And we've seen it with a number of guys. We've seen it with Duran. We've seen it with Leonard. We've seen it with, multiple guys. Okay. Now, of course, you can't indefinitely do that. But the point is, there is a point to it. Now, the question really is, at the end of the day, and even Mikey Garcia, he was able to at least be in the ring with Errol Spence, not get knocked out. Errol Spence was knocking out everybody until Mikey Garcia. He didn't knock out Mikey Garcia, and he sure as hell didn't knock out Sean Porter, which proves the point that he wasn't trying to keep Mikey in there to let him make it to the final round. He was trying to get Mikey out of there, but he couldn't. All right? And he couldn't get rid of Sean Porter either. Okay? Dropped Sean Porter, but he could not get Sean Porter out of there. And the reason that is so is because these guys are a whole different level to what he's been facing before. Right? So, anyways, back to what I was saying. The point I'm making is that, yes, weight classes are important. And my statement is actually supporting something for Terence Crawford. Because Terence Crawford, he should be able to move up almost any weight class, or a lot of weight classes still, and be able to compete and do well. It doesn't necessarily mean he will win, but he will do well. Anyway, my point is this. Clarissa Shields is bigger than Terence Crawford. She's a middleweight, okay? That's what she is. That's what she says she is. That's what she is. She's a middleweight. Terence Crawford is probably going to end up his career somewhere north of that. So he's going to probably end up his career at super middleweight or maybe even light heavy. Probably not light heavy, but super middleweight. Maybe he'll do one light heavy fight. We don't know. But Terence Crawford is like Sugar Ray Leonard. I believe he is a super welterweight. So he's one weight class below Clarissa Shields. He's not, no, shit. What am I saying? Nah, Terence Crawford will not make it all the way up. What the fuck am I saying? He'll make it up to middleweight probably. Probably he'll make it up to middleweight. Terence Crawford, is he a super welter boy? I don't know. We'll see. All right. But he started off at lightweight though. So it should be interesting where his journey ends. If he can make it to middleweight, that would be great. You know, if he can make it past middleweight to super middleweight or even light heavyweight, that would be great. He would have made history, depending. Even win, lose, or draw, he will make history. Okay. But here's the point. I think he's a super welterweight. That's what I think he is. He started all the way down at lightweight, moved up to super lightweight, but at the end of the day, I think he's a super welterweight. He possibly could be a middleweight, but I think he's a super welterweight. Okay? At the end of the day. I don't think he tussles with guys like Canelo. I don't think he tussles with guys like Triple G. I don't think he tussles with guys like Demetrius Andre. I don't think he rocks with them dudes. Them dudes big, man. You know, he only 5'8"? He's Canelo's height. Canelo's like 5'9". You know, Demetrius Andre is like 6'2". You know, fucking Kovalev like 6 foot. You know, these guys get big. Okay, so I don't think that he's that big. I don't think he's that big as those guys. All right, so Clarissa Shields is a middleweight. Okay. Now, I don't see Clarissa Shields running in there and, I mean, beating up or beating any of those middleweights, right? I don't, Derevyanchenko, none of them, okay? She can't handle that because at similar weight, similar mass, she's a woman, they're men. Now, she would hang with him. I'm pretty sure she would hang with him. I don't think she would, you know, get utterly destroyed by them. I think she hang with them because I think she has good enough defense to be able to at least hang with them. But as to her, winning them, I just don't see that, right? They just way bigger than she is in terms of physical strength. I would be absolutely sure they're much stronger than she is. Super welterweight. Some of them super welterweights are big and strong. Jarrett Hurd is a motherfucking big and strong motherfucking super welterweight. Okay? These are big, strong dudes. Okay? You got Jamal Charlo. He's a big, strong super welterweight. You know what I'm saying? Erislandy Lara. He's a big, strong super welterweight. I don't expect Clarissa Shields to hang with them dudes and win against them. Okay? I expect her to be able to survive. Go 3 rounds with them. Sure. Not go 12, not go 10. She might get, badly, badly beaten in the process. But 3 rounds, it's okay. It's cool. She can do a 3-rounder. Right. Now, from the super welterweight, and that's the top super welterweights I'm talking about, right? I'm not talking about, I'm talking she's a top fighter, they top fighters. Okay. At welterweight, we got some really strong guys again, but she won't hang with these guys because they're much smaller than her, right? She can't even make welterweight. They're significantly smaller. They're 2 weight classes smaller than her. So she'll be able to hang with them. Errol Spence, she said, hit hella hard, but she hang with him, right? So you'll find that as the weight classes get lower and smaller, she'll be able to hang with the guys much more, okay? Because they're smaller guys, okay? So 2 weight classes down, she would hang with those dudes. They again, 3 rounds. She can make 3 rounds with those dudes, but like as the longer the fight goes, you go because she's really an 8-rounder. Okay, when you convert the 2-minute rounds to 3-minute rounds, she can go 8 rounds with those guys. Right, that's the most she will go. She cannot go 12 rounds with those guys. She's not conditioned to go 12 rounds. Women's boxing don't. Women's boxing, the 12 rounds is 24 minutes plus the minute in between, which is 36 minutes. So the fight is 36 minutes. With a 12 rounder that is with guys, it goes for 48 minutes because you got to count the minute in between the rounds, and then you got to count the 3-minute rounds. So it's 36 and 12, 48. Okay. So guys go longer for longer periods of time. Okay. The women's fights are shorter. Okay. So as a result of that, what we find is if Clarissa Shields, for example, she can go maybe 8 rounds at best. She's conditioned to go 8 rounds. Not 8 rounds against hella punches or guys that are very strong. So guys her compatible weight and size, they're going to be the ones that hit the hardest. They're the ones that have the bigger weight and strength and size. Obviously, she's going to hang with them, but it's going to be rough, okay? If she has to go 8 rounds with them. Guys who are, and I'm talking about the top tier guys. I'm not talking about, guys who are like in the middle, like, they are the B-level guys. Some B-level guys will give a hell of a lot of problems, right? But the top tier guys I'm talking about, okay? Because she's top tier in the women's division. So as you move down the weight classes, obviously she's going to have more and more advantage because of her size. Okay? And it may not be her strength, but her size will make a bit of a difference. So, and because she has the fundamentals down, because she can fight on the inside, she can fight on the outside, she can fight at mid-range, because she has the fundamentals down, she can hang in there with a bunch of them. All right? She can hang in there with a bunch of them. So the smaller weight classes, of course, that doesn't mean that, guys like Errol Spence or Keith Thurman, she ain't like she talking about she will beat Keith Thurman and knock out. Fuck no. that shit ain't happening. Keith Thurman hits harder than, Danny Garcia hits hard, okay? They hit hard, okay? But she would be able to hang with those guys for sure. She'd be able to hang with them, even though they hit hard and stuff. She got enough defense, enough skills to be able to hang with them and go with them for 8 rounds for sure. Right? I think she goes 8 rounds with those guys. She's not gonna get stopped by them. She knows what to do not to get stopped. So she can go 8 rounds with those guys. So with Terrence Crawford, I don't see why she can't go 3 rounds. Okay, Terrence Crawford is obviously now a full-fledged welterweight, big, strong, full-fledged welterweight, but I don't see him knocking out Claressa Shields. I just don't see that. But how she fares with Terrence Crawford is an interesting question, especially if you're going 3 rounds. Claressa Shields is a high throughput kind of fighter. She's very busy, very active, picks shots and stuff. So 3 rounds, a 3 round fight is a very, very short fight. Okay, it's like you're talking about 3 3-minute rounds with three minutes of rest, 1 minute each round, right? So in all, it's 12 minutes. Okay, that's not much of a fight. That's a very quick fight. And if you just have to go 3 rounds, that means the fight can be a high-paced fight. Okay, it can be a high-paced fight, almost like the amateurs, except the amateurs are 4-rounders. So with 3 rounds, it's very short, very fast-paced, very quick fight. And these are things that I know a lot of you guys haven't factored. You just never thought about it. You never processed it. What really will be happening. You have to have a game plan for that. What's your strategy? How are you going to survive, etc. How are you going to use your defense? That kind of thing. So a 3-rounder, of course, I don't expect anything other than we are asking ourselves, how well would Claressa do against Terrence Crawford? That's the question. Right? That's all. You know, as to anything else, we don't know if she would win or lose or what. But we do know one thing. We know that she definitely will make the 3 rounds. Okay? Now, as you go lower in weight class, you go to the super lightweight division. And by the way, that does not mean that Terrence Crawford don't have hella punching power, or Errol Spence, or Danny Garcia. That's not what I'm talking about. It's not punching power I'm talking about size, strength. I wouldn't be surprised Terrence Crawford is physically as strong as Claressa Shields, or probably a little bit stronger than she is. But it had nothing to do with it. Because at the end of the day, it's boxing. It's boxing skill. It's boxing technique. I'm sure he's a better boxer, but that doesn't mean nothing either. Because it depends on what Claressa is doing. What's her game plan? So, like I said to you guys, if Claressa knows she's going up against somebody who she deems in her mind a bit stronger than she is, probably punch a bit harder than she is a crafty, skilled kind of boxer, then she has to have a game plan, because it's not always the better boxer that wins the fight. We all know this, right? So it's not about, and even the stronger boxer don't always win the fight, right? It's your game plan. So it depends on how she approaches that. And not necessarily that she will win, but if she's be able to be effective in certain areas with her game plan, she could actually make the fight reasonably competitive, because she got the thing that works in her favor, right? She's strong, first of all, as a woman, and second of all, which works in her favor really well, is the fact that she's got a size advantage. Now, you say to yourself, but you're talking about size advantage. Kovalev don't got a size advantage. So Kovalev has a size advantage against Canelo. Yes, but he's weak to the body. He's not the strongest of the light heavyweights out there, right? From what we know, Claressa Shields doesn't seem to be weak to the body like that. We don't know, because she's never really been tested like that. So maybe Terrence could test her with that. But then again, you got 3 rounds to get that done. You know what I'm saying? You got 3 rounds to get that in. So I don't know. I don't know about that. So as I said before, as you go down the divisions, the guys get smaller. Their strength, not their power. Their strength will diminish as you, generally speaking, will diminish as you go down and down in weight. Okay? So she's got a head start in the sense that she's the bigger person. She's the bigger in terms of size. She'll be bigger than Terrence Crawford. You see what I'm saying? So, and that likewise, she can hang with the dude for sure. But the question is, how would she perform against him? You know what I'm saying? And so that's the question we have to ask ourselves, right? How would she perform against Terrence Crawford? And that's what I want to see. I would love to see that. At 3-rounder, that ain't nothing. 3 rounds, I would love to see that, because what it does, because she's already the face of women's boxing, right? What it does is it shows that a boxer is a boxer. What I mean by that is, Fighters are fighters. It will not show that women are better than men and all this bullshit that you motherfuckers out there are saying. You sound like dumbass motherfuckers. And again, it's because you're chauvinistic. You're always thinking the guy, the man, he has to be the best, which is bullshit. All right. It's about strategy, plan, design, and that kind of stuff. All right. There's no way in fucking God's green earth that Muhammad Ali was a worse boxer than Leon Spinks. Fuck no. Okay? Muhammad Ali was a much better boxer than Leon Spinks. Leon Spinks beat his ass. Game plan. All right? There's no way in God's green earth that Mickey Ward was a better boxer than Arturo Gatti. Arturo Gatti was a much better boxer. Mickey Ward beat Arturo Gatti. It happens in boxing. It happens. Okay? So it's your game plan. It's your game plan and how you implement your game plan. I'm not saying Clarissa Shields beats Terence Crawford at all. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is that for sure fucking hell, she will make it past 3 rounds. I think she could even go, well, she's trained to go 8 rounds. So I think she would make it to 8 rounds against Terence Crawford. I think he'd whoop her ass coming down 6, 7, and 8. He gonna really put it on her. But she gonna make it to the finish line. Okay? Again, notice what I said. 6, 7, and 8. He gonna beat her ass. Okay? Because a real boxer invests in his work early on in the fight, and then later on in the fight. This Terence Crawford's a boxer. You have to understand that. He ain't no fucking power puncher. He's a boxer. He will try to make you think he's a power puncher. He's not that. Okay? Terence Crawford, will work Clarissa Shields early, and then later on he'll crash her ass. That's how boxers do it. Errol Spence will work the body. He'll be working the body relentlessly. If he can get you out of there early, he would try. Right? And after he worked the body and soften you up enough, if he can't work the body all the time, he's gonna steal punches to the body. Keep on stealing punches to the body. Steal it. Steal it. That's why I said against Danny Garcia, he gonna crash his ass in the championship rounds. 11, 12, maybe even 10. He gonna crash Garcia's ass if he would have faced Garcia. Early on in the fight, he just stealing body punches. He know this guy dangerous. He got power. So he gonna keep his defense on point, and he been stealing punches. But see, around the championship rounds, 11 and 12, 10, he gonna crash his motherfucker ass. He gonna crash his ass if the fight get that far. If it's available for him to get punches in, he will go for it and try and crash him early. But Danny Garcia got good enough defense, so I don't see why Danny Garcia won't make it to the finish line. But yeah, Errol's that kind of dude. Clarissa sparred Errol. All right, she sparred him amongst many other people. She sparred. Okay, so it's not like she ain't faced adversity before. You know what I'm saying? Errol hits hella hard. She said he hits hella hard. So you know, I'm just saying. Okay. So I think she make 3 rounds for sure. I don't know how far she would go. I think she could make 8 rounds with them, but she gonna get crashed. Terence gonna crash her ass. Round 6, 7, and 8, he gonna crash her ass for sure. If she don't have a proper game plan, you know, he'll crash her. Yeah. But it would be nice to see, though. It would be nice to see. Like I said before, you know, it's not about man versus woman so much as just seeing the best face the best. And just seeing, just getting to formalized that, you know, if you say Terence is pound for pound number 1, then he's pound for pound number 1. It's nice to see this shit in the ring. I don't advocate going 8 rounds. I don't advocate that shit. You know, I wouldn't want to see that. But if they want to do it, fuck yeah, sure. Let's have it. But I'm just saying that that's not necessarily what I would want to see, you know. But yeah, that was the Clarissa Shields thing. But anyway, back to what I was talking about, which is you know, there's some really good women boxers coming up, and they already were good ones before, and looking forward to watching more. You know, the attention is more on women's boxing now than it's ever been before, and I think that's a good thing. You know what I'm saying? Mike Alvarado, TB, what's up, my dude? Would you watch Tyson Fury in the WWE, Logan Paul versus KSI main fight only, or Mayweather Jr. exhibition match only? No, I would watch I'm not watching Tyson Fury in the WWE because again, I'm all about boxing, right? If it's something to do with boxing, I might watch it. I might watch Logan Paul versus KSI too. I might watch that. I might watch also. I think Devin Haney is he defending his title? I don't know if I might watch that. I don't think I'll watch the Devin Haney or the Billy Joe Saunders because I don't think they're facing nobody great. But I might watch that later. But definitely the KSI versus Logan Paul. It could be interesting. I mean, Logan Paul is the better boxer of the two, in my opinion, from the last fight. I don't know what it'll be like now. KSI was really wild with his punches. So I don't know. But I mean, I might watch the Logan Paul versus KSI. I might start becoming a little bit more lenient just to see because just the way how they comment and everything in the commentary is very exciting. I kind of like it. Poopy Sister says next you're gonna say she would outbox Mayweather. Who is that? Clarissa Shields? I never said she's gonna outbox anybody. Did I? Did I say that Clarissa Shields would outbox anybody? I said the game plan. She's definitely not a better boxer than Terrence Crawford. We all know that. Duh. What I'm saying is, game plan wise, someone can beat another person if they have the right game plan. All right. I'm not saying she would beat Terrence Crawford because Terrence Crawford is a character that adapts and he makes adjustments on the fly. So it'd be very hard to beat a Terrence Crawford. Very hard. But who knows? I mean, Marcus Maidana had a great game plan. Marcus Maidana ain't no great boxer. He's not greater than Floyd. You know what I mean? But he had a game plan and he implemented it. I'm just saying. And all I'm saying is, a lot of people are saying, well, Carissa, she will get dusted by Terrence Crawford in 3. Fuck no. Hell no, that ain't happening. She's not going to get dusted. The question is how she would perform. And dusted, I mean knocked out. She's not getting knocked out. But how she would perform against Terrence Crawford would be very interesting. Very interesting for me to see. I would love to see that shit. I would love to see that. I would really love to see that. I think it's a worthy fight to see. Most people would pick Terrence Crawford to win, which would make sense. All right. In 3 rounds, 3 rounds is kind of short. It's a very short period of time. But I'd just like to see it. As an exhibition fight, that'd be cool. Headgear, though. They must wear headgear. And it depends on what size gloves they want to wear. If they want to wear 16-ounce gloves or whatever, I don't care. But at the end of the day, headgear is a must for that fight because they're both professional boxers. I think they should wear the headgear. And if they want to, they determine the glove size. And then go at it, man. Do the do. That would be great. Crossover fight. Women's boxing and men's boxing. It'd be great. I think people would actually watch it. And a lot of motherfuckers out there would get humbled. They would realize, oh shit, it's true. This motherfucker be saying the truth. But the only way y'all know the truth is if you actually see it happen. All your motherfuckers bracing. Oh, that'll never be a fight. That's not a good fight. Y'all always, a motherfucker who trying to protect. A motherfucker who trying to protect. I never say don't have this fight. I thought Kovalev versus Canelo was a shit fight, but they want to push through with it. I wanted the Demetrius Andre fight. They said no. We want to say, oh fuck it. So be it. It's a shit fight though. I was pushing for Demetrius Andre though. Fight, right? I never tell people, oh, don't do this fight. Don't do that. When you say that, you know what you sound like? Oh, that's a fight I don't want to see happen. You know what that sounds like? That sounds like you don't want to be wrong. You don't want to be fucking wrong. That's what happened because you got this idea in your head and you want to protect that idea. So you don't want to see the fight. Why? Because when the fight happens and it actually happens in the ring and she don't get stopped, you would be wrong. Your dumb ass will be wrong. And all of y'all motherfuckers will be wrong. The only guys saying this shit. Some women will too. Because, women don't understand how athletes and sport has evolved. It is what it is. But anyways, like I said before, talk is cheap. We have to see it. So we're going to push for it. We keep on pushing for it. You think I was playing? I'm going to say this thing over and over. See, y'all start something y'all can't stop. I'm gonna keep on talking about this shit. You know why? Because a lot of you motherfuckers open your mouths and say shit that don't make no damn sense. It don't make no fucking sense. Y'all don't realize it. You know, I'm gonna put y'all motherfuckers on blast. I'm gonna put y'all motherfuckers on blast. Y'all just sit down and just come with shit out of your head. Right? Y'all just talk. Y'all never face nobody in no fucking ring, and y'all talking. Y'all just talk. Y'all do this. Okay. We're gonna put it to the test. The truth is, when we actually see it, we will see what really happens. A lot of people like to talk there, but I remember same motherfuckers in there. Oh, I'll beat up Chocolatito. Oh yeah, I'm gonna take him down. You can take him down. Shit. You could be an MMA fighter. He gonna knock you the fuck out. That's what he will do. You ain't taking out Chocolatito. Get the fuck out of here. Serious. Never had a pro fight. Never had, never did nothing in the amateurs, but you gonna beat Chocolatito. Please. Ninja, please. And that's the problem with you guys. You're disrespectful. I mean, if you're talking about somebody, maybe Chocolatito's height and size, who happened to never box before, sure, maybe you could. It depends. If they know martial arts, your ass is grass. But anyway, that I can understand. But you're gonna look at a professional motherfucking boxer who is known for his power, breaking down fighters, knocking them the fuck out, and you gonna say you could take on Chuck? Get the fuck out of here. Y'all talk some real stupid ass shit. And now y'all saying, Terence Crawford, he will knock out Clarissa. She ain't gonna last 3 rounds. You know how stupid you sound? A 2-time fucking Olympic champion who's got the fundamentals of boxing down pat can't go 3. What you saying is she can't spar Terence Crawford and go 3 rounds with him. She can't go 3 rounds with any professional fighter. Never mind she sparred Errol Spence. You know how stupid that sounds? Oh, and then y'all exaggerated, blow it out of proportion. Oh, that means women could beat men. Oh, that means that women could beat men now in boxing. Listen, man, listen. Now it means that he's saying that Clarissa Shields would beat Terence Crawford. You start saying all kinds of whack ass shit, showing me how much of a fucking punk you guys are, because you're little boys, you're little sissies. You started crying and whine on me because I said she can go 3 rounds with Terence Crawford. 3 rounds. That shit, all of a sudden, every one of you motherfuckers got spooked by that shit. Oh my God, Masa. Oh my God. A woman? What's next? She will beat a man? Oh, women are going to come in and invade? I even saw my good friend DT3 talking about feminism in boxing. And I'm like, what is wrong with this motherfucker? What the fuck is wrong with y'all? Y'all tripping out. Want to piss yourselves, want to shit yourselves because I said that she could go 3 rounds with Terence Crawford. I never said she could beat him. I never said none of that shit. I just said she could go 3 rounds with Terence Crawford, and y'all lost your shit. Y'all lost your shit. And when you really evaluate it and you take your little panties and you put them back on and you stop grabbing yourself, when you think about what I just said, it makes perfect sense. But see, a lot of you motherfuckers overreact because all of y'all motherfuckers got chauvinism inside of your ass. That's the problem with you guys. I'm going to keep on beating it in your thick-head skull until you understand. Because all of y'all is on the same shit over and over. Chauvinistic shit. Male shit. Oh, masculinity. Oh, yeah, it's all about going in there and being a tough guy and punching people down. That's what you think boxing is. Y'all dumbass motherfuckers. Y'all still think boxing is all about power. It's all about height. It's all about size. It's all about range. Over and over, I hear the same shit because it's a man's sport. It's a manly sport. What women doing it? They was never made for boxing. I hear this shit over and over and over. Y'all try to build up evidence. Oh, there's physical evidence out there that women are weaker than men and all kinds of shit. Get the fuck out of here with that. All because I said Clarissa Shields could go 3 rounds with Terence Crawford possibly. She used to go in 8 rounds, motherfucker. When you translate it into she doesn't go 3-minute rounds. She feels it should return to 3-minute rounds. Okay? Y'all, man, y'all tripping. Y'all tripping big time. Y'all tripping. All of y'all. Man, all of y'all would look like asses when she go 3 rounds with Terrence Crawford, which she would do. She would go 3 rounds. He could go all out how much he want. She would go 3 rounds with him. It is what it is. He know that. He actually boxed. And if he feels otherwise, then he under illusion. That definitely we would need to see that fight. If he think he could get her out of there in 3. That shit ain't happening, man. He's not Terrence Crawford's not that kind of fighter. He's not a knockout artist. The last couple of fights made him look like he's a knockout artist. He ain't no fucking knockout artist. Guess what? We got more assholes coming through. Boxing Monster, what it do, brother? New sub, yes sir, yes sir. Respect to you, brother. Mike Alvarado TBE says, if Claressa Shields catches Floyd, Floyd gets knocked out. I don't know, man. Maybe. I don't know. Mike Alvarado TBE, I want to see Claressa Shields versus Floyd Mayweather Jr. You want to see an old man go against a young, strong, hungry youngster. Why? Well, okay. Let it happen. Hey, man, whatever y'all want to do, man. Whatever you want to see. It would be good for boxing because Floyd brings a bigger name and Shields can get more exposure. Whatever, man. Whatever. Poopy Sistrong. Errol didn't go 100%. Come on, man. He ain't making money for it. Bud would destroy her. Poopy Sistrong. Dude, it don't matter, bro. It don't matter. Whether he going 100% or not, depending. Sometimes in sparring, people do go 100%, but I don't know. I don't know what the case was. All she said was he hit hella hard. That's what's important. Mike Alvarado would knock out Terrence Crawford. Bob Arum needs to make that fight happen. Oh, y'all are so funny. Yeah, man, Boxing Monster. What it do, brother? Thank you for the subs. Don't forget to share this video with other people, man. Let's share the video, man. You see, my thing is this, right? Regardless of what people think about fighters or whatever, they're fighters, man. And I'm not saying that there's not a difference between male and female, but you got to also understand where you draw the line, where you have to understand where you have to understand what boxing is. And if you don't understand what boxing is, you'll always get caught up in shit because you're not really thinking it through. Yeah, Boxing Monster. Dog, I like boxing talk. No BS. Yeah, man. I mean, I talk boxing, but I really don't care about talking boxing. The truth be told, I really prefer to demonstrate boxing than talk boxing. But it is what it is, you know. And there's certain things that I've seen in certain fighters, which makes me realize that knocking them out is not that easy. It's just not that fucking easy to just knock out a fighter like that. They gotta really depart from what they really are. And I think a lot of people out here, they just don't get that. Like, they don't understand what fucking boxing is. And that's what annoys me to no end. So they say some things and they don't really think about what they're saying. They just talk out their ass, to be honest with you. That's what they be doing. So when somebody actually talks things that make sense, actually say something that makes sense, their motherfucking ass so far left field that they don't even understand what the person just said. And they start saying, oh, this person talking crazy. Yeah, Sean Porter is the guy that tells you guys, like what I was saying, Sean Porter was saying, you know, that how hard a person punches, okay, is not necessarily the relevant thing, especially if you're prepared for that shit. So sometimes our fighters will tell you, you know, it just say arbitrary shit. Like, you know, they say, well, who punches harder, Pacquiao or Mayweather? And then Oscar De La Hoya say, well, they punch just about the same. What do you know what Oscar really saying? I wasn't focused on that shit. I wasn't really focused on it. I was focused on fighting the dude. So I really can't tell you how they were punching. Nothing really registers, you know, bigger. The one guy punching harder than the other. It wasn't really registering with me because I was busy fighting them. You know? And that's the thing that a lot of people don't realize. Shane Mosley, now he will engage you. Say Pacquiao definitely punches harder because he got dropped by Pacquiao, right? So he will say Pacquiao. He said, but when he said about getting dropped by Pacquiao, he said it wasn't nothing. different or special. He don't even understand how he fell down. That's what he said, which is interesting. But now he comes back and said Pacquiao punches harder than Floyd. Who knows? Maybe they both punch about the same. We don't know. But what I can tell you is this, that when it comes to asking people dumb questions like how hard this guy punches, how much power this guy has, really and truly, those are really arbitrary dumb questions, in my opinion. All right? Somebody can tell you the only way you can really know is if you put them up to a machine and you let them punch the machine. That's the only way. And even then, the effect of their hard punches is really determined by how accurate they place their punches. You know, the technique in which they punch. These are the things that make a difference, because a guy could punch you hard, right? He could punch you hard, but he punch you with the full hand. So even if he punched with the knuckles, he punched with more of his surface area than another guy who punches you quick, sharp, and fast. And just the speed at which it came, it put more pressure into the punch, so it went further into your body. And so you are affected worse by the guy who was faster and sharper than the guy who was blunt-ended and more powerful. And it's the kind of shit that I had to deal with, because then people are saying, how hard a guy, maybe the other guy doesn't punch as hard, but he places his punches better. So he gets more effect on his punches than a guy who's punching harder, or supposedly punching harder, you know? And it's this kind of shit that I had to deal in boxing. And listen to people talking some shit, and they always caught up in shit. And I just be like, what the fuck, man? It's like so stupid, because they're like, people just don't understand the sport. Like, it's not how hard a guy hits that's more important. If he can't connect, it doesn't really matter, right? So what is important is the guy landing punches on me, first of all? And then what am I doing to negate that? And how is he able to get his punches in? Because another thing that a lot of people just do not understand, you see the guys getting all those KOs, they're setting up the shots. There's a bit of this intelligence up here that's going on. Guys don't just knock out people just like that. They have to set you up. So whether they're going to the body all the time, drawing your hands down, then they go over the top and catch you, they have to set you up to get you to get knocked out. The knockout don't come because they push in power and they're trying to use all their leverage. It's easy. They just doing normal, natural things. You can't, if you tighten up on your punches, if you try to throw a lot of force behind your punch, right? And you don't have the right technique, you're not going to punch as hard as if you're fluid with it and you relax and you throw the punch. And you're not, you know, some people talk about you trying to get the KO. You're not trying to get the KO. You're just trying to connect with the target. And this shit is so counterintuitive to a lot of people, because a lot of people just don't understand. If you try to go in there like a strong man, you're like, you come burn up a whole set of fucking energy and you're not going to get the KO. And then you might get KO'd. And it's like talking this shit to people, because a lot of people think it's all about force and power and strength, right? Oh man, this guy knocked out this guy. He got so many KOs. Man, he must hit hella hard. And they just don't understand the fucking sport. They just don't understand. That's not the shit that the guy's even focusing on. You know, and then it depends on the matchmaking again. A dude just came off a knockout loss. You get him. He still got the knockout in his mind. So you could set him up for the knockout. You know what it was used to knock him out. You could do your homework on him, and you can knock his ass out again. Right? So it's like this kind of shit that we have to deal with. You know, they talk about, oh man, this guy got an 80% knockout ratio. Okay, who he faced? Let's see. Was the guy coming off a knockout loss? What was the story behind that guy? And like all of these things people don't really think about. Like they talk shit, but they don't really know what they're talking about. And it's like so annoying to me, you know, to no end. I do a little bit of homework and I realize, okay, this is what really was going on. Okay. You know, when it's a legit knockout, you go watch the fight. You have to watch fights to be able to know. Exactly. Correct, Boxing Monster. Some guys generate the power from their legs. You know, others are heavy-handed. Pacquiao generates blunt force off of his feet, right? Yeah. And he's quick, man. You know what I'm saying? And it's like this stuff, man, I just like, oh, man. So, you know, people be talking about, you know, Clarissa Shields, she can't hang with this dude. He gonna knock her out. Blah, blah. Listen, man, it's boxing. If this was about strongman contests, about who could hit harder and shit, yeah, she probably lose that battle. But it's boxing. There are things you can do in boxing to last in a fight. Period. Jessica Gemeno. Yeah, you put back Gemeno behind your name. Okay, cool. I'm reading Sugar Ray's memoir right now. He said too many people focus on the one punch that led to the knockout, but it's the combination of, thank you very much, the combination of punches that they don't pay attention to. Thank you very much. Setting up the knockout, they call it. Book is great. Yep. You have to set up the knockout. It's not just going to come, and even when you set it up, you may have to do it 2, 3, 4, 5 times without success. And then it comes. But then again, you're not looking for the knockout. Like a lot of people talk about, you look for the, no, you're trying to, like, okay, great finishers, what they actually do, right? From what I've understood is, even when we talk about crashing a fighter, you get a fighter hurt, now you're crashing him, right? First of all, you got to have your defense on point. Otherwise, he can counterpunch you in the middle of that crashing. But what they do is, after you get the boxer in a problem, there's things called, when you get him hurt, then you throw what is called combinations. You start throwing a whole host of combinations. And there's a set of combinations you can throw, and you start throwing them. Because what you want to do now is overwhelm the opponent. You see you got him hurt, now you got to close the show. So you're throwing all these combinations. You do not know which one was going to land and actually get the opponent out of there, if the opponent even gets out of there, right? But hopefully you throw the right combinations depending on the available spots available to you. And those combinations, one of them lands, or 2 or 3 of them lands, and your opponent gets knocked out or gets stopped, or the referee stops the fight. The whole important thing is you have to throw so that your opponent doesn't throw back. And if you can throw enough punches so your opponent doesn't throw back and he looks vulnerable, the referee will stop the fight. And that's the whole point behind it. It's not you trying to knock out this guy with this particular punch when you get them hurt. No, you're crashing them. It's called crashing. It's called a trap. Yeah, boxing must be a trap setting. Correct. But it's like you have to be able to sneak in things and set up, and you kind of telegraph what you're going to do as you keep on playing it out as the fight goes along. Sometimes you try out something in a round, but you can't be obvious. And that's what I was trying to explain. Sergey Kovalev, he can't be obvious with his jabbing. Like he has to be able to sort of, mix up his jabs. He can't be predictable. Other Canelo will read that stuff, and then he will know what to do to get on the inside. So Kovalev has to box on the back foot and try to be as unpredictable as possible with his jab. Like throw his jab at regular times, throw different kinds of jab off of different angles. That'll keep Canelo guessing, so he doesn't have to just bob and weave to try and get to the inside, Of course, Kovalev will also be looking to throw body shots. He should mix that in with his jab to the body, because he has a very effective jab to the body and head. And he can mix that up now with also, hooks and stuff. So I'm just saying that at the end of the day, it's great to see you guys at least understand boxing like that. Because, once again, it's not me saying what I think. This is not my opinion. I'm not talking out my ass. This is something that actually said in boxing. Jessica Gemeno says, to me, combinations are the best part of boxing. Not the KO or the knockdown. If it comes, fine. But watching the combinations from truly great fighters is breathtaking. Yeah, it is. And that's how you get opponents out of there, And once again, you can't force something. So you can't force a 1, 2, 4, 3 or something like that. You have to understand what you got, and then use what you're given. That's the best way to say it. And you will see it on the fly. You will see the available areas that the boxer is presenting to you, and then you score on those areas. So you throw set combinations based off of what is available to you. And you will see it. Instinctively, you will see it, and instinctively, you'll know what to do once it's become part of muscle memory. Whew. Anyways, man, I haven't eaten lunch, and it's 5:54 in the afternoon. But, I just try to explain to people certain things in boxing. So why I say certain statements, which may seem counterintuitive to some people, but boxing is counterintuitive. But, it is what it is. People will be people. And because it's coming from me, they're gonna of course um make me out to be somebody crazy or something. But when it's coming from, someone who's been in boxing, because I'm not nobody in boxing. I'm just a fan, right? I'm just talking what people in boxing say, and I'm just using the information that they say in boxing to put it together and realize, no, 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 this is not, people exaggerating right here, and so that's where I come from. I can't definitively say that certain things I could definitively say, but other things I can't definitively say. I just favor one thing, or I say, well, this is my opinion. But other things in boxing, man, you just got look at what people have, look at their background, look at the fights that they've had, look at how they fight, look at the defense they have, and once you can look at those things, you should be able to assess, a person's defense or the offense. You may be able to assess and make some sort of prediction or make some kind of observation on certain things that you see. I mean, and that's when you're, kind of, I have to call it this way. You're an educated boxing fan, at least you have the respect. You have to have respect for the sport. Okay. You have to have respect for the sport. You have to have respect for the people in the sport who, sacrifice their lives every time going into that ring to compete against one another. And so I think if you don't have that respect for the sport, you're going to just open your mouth and it might as well it just farted, because you're basically going to talk out your ass. And it's sad because that's a lot of boxing fans talk out their ass. A lot of boxing fans. I always say it, and I know some of you guys may differ in your opinion, but the worst thing that could have ever happened to fucking boxing was that Rocky movie. Rocky 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Well, how many Rocky movies? That was the worst fucking thing they could have ever done for the sport of boxing, because people actually believe boxing is like fucking Rocky. Okay? And it's sad, okay? You know what made Arturo Gatti versus Mickey Ward a great fight? The fact that Mickey Ward, who was an inferior boxer to Arturo Gatti, okay, gave him a fight of his life. Arturo Gatti was whooping his ass, and then all of a sudden Mickey Ward came back and won the fight and beat up Arturo Gatti. Okay, it was Arturo Gatti's fault that he lost that fight, to be honest with you. And he won the other two. But at the end of the day, Mickey Ward always gives everybody a hard fight, by the way. But at the end of the day, what I'm saying is, a lot of people deify the first Gatti versus Ward fight because it's the first one that everybody remembers, because Ward did the unthinkable. He was able to beat a superior boxer to himself, pull off that win, and brutalize the boxer, right? And so that's why people remember the first Gatti Ward fight. They don't remember the second, they don't remember the third, because Gatti won the both easy, right? Well, easier. But they remember the first one. Now, what I want to say about that is this. Everybody thinks boxing is Gatti versus Ward 1. Kind of like the Rocky movie, right? Rocky's an inferior boxer. He can take a lot of punishment, and he ends up winning. Okay. Or he ends up losing, but he makes a name for himself. Okay, fine. What I want to say is that method of boxing is definitely not the method you need to have in boxing. However, what Mickey Ward did, not Rocky now, Mickey Ward did in boxing, he had a tight fucking defense. Look at his guard was always up, okay? And as much as he was getting hit with shots, and he was getting hit pretty hard, you notice at the end of the fight, his face was not as a mess as Arturo Gatti's. You know why? Arturo Gatti started fighting Mickey Ward's fight. The range was closed. Mickey Ward was able to close range because fucking Arturo Gatti kept on popping his head back into the pocket when he should have kept his head out of the pocket and should have kept his jab to keep Mickey Ward at bay and turn Mickey Ward. He didn't do that in the first fight. He did it in the second and third. Got in some trouble, but in the second and third, he managed to, do the right thing. Okay? It was Gatti that fucked himself over. He was having an easy time with Mickey Ward. He started falling asleep on himself, and he got his ass beat. Okay? Because Mickey Ward's not a guy you want to have the tables turn on you. Because once he gets the advantage, he's not going to relinquish it. Okay? So that's what happened in the Gatti Ward fight. Okay? That's not something to deify. If anything, if you're going to praise somebody, it's Mickey Ward to praise, not Arturo Gatti. Arturo Gatti, and everybody praised Arturo Gatti for the war he had with Mickey Ward. Gatti had a couple more wars after that, mostly with Oscar De La Hoya and Floyd Mayweather. But he beat I forget what the kid's name, outsmart the dude, caught him with the uppercut and knocked his ass out because this dude wasn't knocked out before. Arturo Gatti was a smart fighter. A lot of people don't know he had a great educated jab. Okay. He lost to what's the kid's name? I forgot his name now. Right? Because he got his eyes busted up. But that kid could box. And he outboxed Arturo Gatti in that fight. But by and large, Arturo Gatti was a good fighter. He fucked up himself and got himself into wars at times. He should not have gotten into wars. But having said that, what I'm saying is, people deify Arturo Gatti for losing the fucking fight with Mickey Ward. Okay? And I'm not saying Boxing Monster, I'm not saying it's white hype by HBO. My point is this. Fucking Rocky movie. That fucking Rocky movie fucked up the sport of boxing. Sylvester Stallone fucked it up. Raging Bull didn't get the kind of exposure that it should have gotten. Raging Bull's a fucking better movie than a fucking Rocky movie, man. Any day, any fucking time. It's like real boxing. Okay? Raging Bull's a fucking good movie. Rocky is bullshit. Okay? It's bullshit. I don't even know what's doing in Boxing Hall of Fame. Raging Bull should be there. Okay? And it's actually, Raging Bull is basically on Jake LaMotta's life, right? It's so fucked up, man. So now, people today find Arturo Gatti for getting his ass beat by Mickey Ward. Because he took so much punishment. But Arturo Gatti knows. Buddy McGirt used to train him. Taking punishment ain't cool. So, okay, Arturo Gatti was a tough dude. But it ain't cool to take punishment, man. All right? Lots of boxers are tough people. A lot of boxers are tough. But it ain't cool to be tough. If you're not going to box and not get hit, it's not cool, people. All right? Dude, Patrick Day died. It ain't cool to die in the ring, right? A lot of people was like, oh, we should be praising Patrick Day. Oh, man, he went out like a warrior. Great fighter. We should be celebrating that shit. If we're going along the lines of Rocky. Right? We should be celebrating Patrick Day's death. He was a warrior. We should be, man, don't cry for Patrick Day. He was a great warrior. Don't cry for him at all. That's the way to go out. This is the way to box, people. That's what we should be saying. We should be saying, look at Patrick Day. Follow his pattern, right? That makes sense? No. Dadashev. Dadashev was willing to go through hell. Go through fucking hell. And back to win. He had the will to win. Perfect Rocky story. Did everything like Rocky. Was taking a whole set of fucking punishment. Right? He's dead, ladies and gentlemen. He's dead. Like Apollo Creed. That Rocky movie is not the way to go in fucking boxing. I'm going to take one. You take one. Let's see who dropped first. No. No. All right. So I'm not cool with that fucking Rocky movie. It fucked up boxing big time. People used to look at boxing as a sweet science. People actually understood what boxing was before that motherfucking Rocky movie. Okay? Why do you think everybody loved Muhammad Ali so much? You think Joe Louis took punishment like that? Fuck Joe Louis. Let's talk some real guys. Jack Dempsey. You think Jack Dempsey took that kind of punishment? Jack Dempsey didn't take that kind of punishment. People used to watch Jack Dempsey back in the 1920s, right? That motherfucker was bad. But he wasn't taking punishment. The other guy was taking punishment. Right? It's not cool. Jake LaMotta was a bad motherfucker. You think Jacob Romano was taking punishment? No, the other guy was taking punishment. You know what I'm saying? Gene Fullmer, bad motherfucker. Right? I'm not just going to go black fighters. Fuck that. They got white fighters too. Boxing was boxing. People knew boxing. Today, people don't know shit. When you listen to the commentators call fights, they actually knew what was actually going on in that ring, defensively and offensively. Sometimes they got it wrong, but I'm just saying. You could trust them. Nowadays, great right hand by Jim Lampley. Motherfucker didn't throw a right hand, first of all. And second of all, he missed. Oh my God. Jessica Gimeno says, I was watching Sugar Ray versus Eklund, and there's a point where Larry Merchant says, this is what happened to Rocky in real life. You know what I'm saying? I love Rocky, but I see it as a movie, a metaphor for resilience. Come on, man. You know what I'm saying? Patrick Day was very tragic. Yeah. That's the point. It was tragic. He died like a gladiator, but it was tragic. Boxing Monster says, facts. For sure, brother. Vasil says, what's up, man? Man, I'm cool, man. Boxing Monster said, Willie Pep. Thank you very much. Willie Pep was a bad mama jammer. Vasily Lomachenko. Right? Sergey Kovalov. Alexander Usyk. Man, these guys know what the fuck they know boxing. You know what I'm saying? You know, you're not trying to take punishment. What the fuck were you trying to take punishment for? My favorite, Dmitry Pirog. You know, Dmitry Bivol. You know, Artur Beterbiev. He still takes some punches, though. But he still got defense. You know what I'm saying? He got defense. You know what I'm saying? You know, you gotta have defense, ladies and gentlemen. Pirog was beautiful to watch. You know, you gotta have defense in this game. I rewatched that Danny Jacobs fight. Yeah, he put him down, boy. He switched from southpaw to orthodox, and he hit him. Boom. Danny went down. Pop. Danny tried to get back up though, but Bird kept him down. He was like, "Nah, stay down." He was like, "What?" He looked at him like, "What? Come on, man." But you know what? If he had become world champion, probably died of cancer. So it was a good thing that he actually lost. What happened to Pirog's career? Ending in injury. Yeah, man, it did. Slip disc, baby. He out of boxing. He had one fight after that, and I checked on Boxer. No, he had a couple fights after that. He was world champion for a while. They wanted to see him versus Triple G. That would have been a good fight. I got Pirog. All day, every day. He'd have beat Triple G. It's harder to be a good defensive fighter than a good slugger. For sure. There's an art to slugging too, but obviously you got to be more disciplined. You got to be more relaxed. You got to keep your composure. Keeping your composure is very important in boxing. And this is stuff that, again, if you're watching a fucking Rocky movie, that shit is just the opposite of what they teach you in boxing. Even the fiercest warriors, the fiercest fighters, they're relaxed. They're aggressive, but they're relaxed. And this shit they don't teach you. You won't watch in a fucking movie. Even the most recent Rocky movie with whatever the kid's name is, Tony, whatever his name is, who was in that movie. The black dude was taking so many punches, and I'm like, that shit is so whack. That shit is whack. Jessica Germano says, movies in general don't represent real life. A person watching a sports movie should know that, as long as you can separate the two. Well, people can't. It's etched in their minds that boxing is like Rocky. Yeah, Creed. Same bullshit. You know, overcoming adversity for them is taking punches. That's not adversity. In boxing, there's many different ways to have adversity. One of the adversity is the other guy's outboxing you, right? you're not getting punished per se, but he's outmoving you. You know, you're getting one punch in, but he's still getting like 3, 4 punches in, and he gets the majority of punches in the round. He may not be hitting you as hard, but he's outpointing you, making you fight his fight as well. And that's adversity because you got to figure out the guy's frustrating you. Okay, you got to figure out how to get back on the scorecards. You're behind on the scorecards. You got to somehow come ahead on the scorecards. What you going to do? You're going to probably try to work the body. We've seen it with Canelo versus Khan. We've seen it with Canelo versus Erislandy Lara, where he had to come back from behind. That's adversity too. You know what I'm saying? Adversity is not getting beat up like a motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Facile says, I like Cinderella Man. I haven't seen Cinderella Man yet, but Raging Bull is a really good film, man. A really good fucking film. That's more realistic than the other shit. Yeah, in terms of boxing films, I agree with you 100%, man. You know what I mean? It's just sad, though. It's sad that people think that boxing is Adrian. Come on, man. I like Hurricane, but not enough boxing. Come on, man. That's not what boxing is, man. It's not what boxing is. Some boxers have a boxer's slur, right? But, I mean, okay. You know, all boxers ain't like that. Most of the boxers are not like that. You know what I mean? It is what it is, though. It is what it is. So that's what people think. They think a boxer is a brain dead guy that goes in there and all he does is fight. All he wants to do is fight. He don't got no intellect, nothing. He just got brute strength and brawn and he can fight. That's what people think boxing is. It's a man's sport where I can let off my testosterone and beat everybody up. It's not what boxing is, ladies and gentlemen. Whose is Crawford's next opponent? Gavaliauskas, man. Egidijus Gavaliauskas. That's his next opponent. Yeah, I know. I've seen him against Ray Robinson. He ain't nothing special. He gonna get knocked out. But hey, the truth be told, though, after Terrence gets past that mandatory, they calling it a mandatory. Oh, what you need? Who are you picking for Shakur Stevenson versus Joet Gonzalez? I did my picks. I got Shakur. He's gonna beat him. Definitely gonna beat him. I got Reggie Prograis beating Josh Taylor. I got Derek Chisora beating David Price, and so on and so on and so on. I think I did my picks early in this video. Peoples, I gotta go. I'm sorry. It's 2 hours. It's 2 hours, 11 minutes, 54 seconds. I'm gonna keep on pressing the issue with Clarissa Shields versus Terrence Crawford. I'm also gonna press the issue concerning a number of other things, because a lot of people, again, I don't know what people be looking at, but I can show you what I mean. I can show you what I mean. Other people, they just talk. They can't show you. They can't give you reasonings for what they mean. I can show you what I mean. But that's the nice thing about boxing. It's a doing sport. It's not about talk. You know, we could talk boxing forever, but talk is cheap. Doing is better. And boxing is a doing sport. And you learn by actually boxing. So the best way to actually understand and see who's correct or who's wrong is actually to see these guys actually box one another or face one another. And the truth actually comes out. You know, I'm not always 100% correct, but, you know, I try. But I always give you a good reason why I think this guy will win or whatever. Sometimes I'm absolutely 100% wrong. And I got it wrong. And I'll tell you I'm wrong. That's the difference between me and these other motherfuckers out there. They got so much ego, they can't say they're wrong. And if somebody sticks it to them, they can't take it. You know what I'm saying? Boxing Monster says, I think Iron Mike Tyson ruined the heavyweight division. People don't realize Tyson was one of the most skillful fighters. Yeah, he was skillful, man. Bobbing and weaving and getting to the inside and throwing those hooks off of the weave, coming back up. Yeah, he was beautiful, man. He threw the hooks to the body and to the head, lightning fast or lightning quick. Yeah. But he looked good against a certain caliber of fighter. I think when we came to the era of the Holyfields and the Lewises and Foremans, and, you know, when Foreman came back, and then you had James Toney that went up in the heavyweight division, and slick boxes, skill boxes, that kind of thing. I think Tyson, he didn't really have great, great heavyweights to deal with, right? That came later on in his career when he faced the guys, and he still didn't face everybody. He didn't face Riddick Bowe. He never faced, like I said before, he never faced, some of the better up and coming guys. So it's kind of sad because the heavyweight division started to really light up later on in his career. But we were kind of in a transition to the next best thing. So after Ali disappeared off the scene and Larry Holmes took up the torch, after Larry Holmes, there was really nobody. And Mike Tyson was the only guy that came in between. In Larry Holmes' era, there was a couple still great heavyweights there. But by the time Tyson's era came around, there wasn't really any great heavyweights. They didn't stay very long. Until, we had Holyfield that came up in the division. Lennox Lewis was starting to reign like a motherfucker. We had some other guys like Bert Cooper. Mike Tyson never faced Bert Cooper. He never faced a whole bunch of them, actually. He never faced Bert Cooper. What's the other guy's name? He's a military dude. I forgot his name. He's a fierce motherfucker, too. I just can't remember his name right now. The Southpaw dude, he never faced him. He never faced James Toney, who went up in there, did his thing. Roy was supposed to face him out here. Ray Mercer, yeah, Merciless Ray Mercer. He never faced that dude. These would have been good competitors. He did face the Jamaican dude. I forgot what his name is. Razor Ruddock. Good ass fight. Both fights were good ass fights. See, he faced Razor Ruddock, but he didn't face these other guys. Bert Cooper, Ray Mercer, George Foreman. He never faced those guys, so I can't really say he never had to have. He didn't have the Titans of his day. He didn't really have those guys. Yeah, is Robert Moore? That's his name. I know him as Michael Moore. Michael Moore. That's the dude I was talking about, the Southpaw dude. Boxing is a sport where people get attached to the individual athletes. I know fans who stopped watching after the Four Kings era. Yeah. I know people who stopped watching when Tyson or Holyfield retired. Yeah. Like I stopped watching basketball after Michael Jordan retired. So I followed Michael Jordan. So sometimes personalities is what makes people interested in a sport and not the sport itself. That's very true. I agree. His social life set his boxing career back. Yeah, it did. It did. But, like I said before, I think that he didn't really have that competition. The guys who were really there, he had Witherspoon was there. He had, I can't even remember the guys' names, and that's to tell you how much. The Jamaican dude that beat Muhammad Ali in Muhammad Ali's last fight was there. They were okay guys, but it's just they proved that they weren't really that great. But when you talk about fucking Evander Holyfield was great, right? He went through a bunch of guys, right? George Foreman was great, right? Even this guy who says, "Let's go champ. Let's go champ. Let's go champ." He was good. He came from the same area as Mike Tyson. You got, Lennox Lewis, like I said before, he was great, obviously. And then you had guys like, I could pull them up. There was a lot of really great heavyweights out there. And Shannon Briggs, yeah, let's go champ. Shannon Briggs was good. You know what I'm saying? So, Mike Tyson didn't face those kinds of guys, right? How would he have done against the Klitschko's? I think he'd have knocked out Vladimir Klitschko, but I don't think Vitaly Klitschko would have been, would probably might have knocked him out. Vitaly was a bad motherfucker, you know what I'm saying? So, Mike Tyson was great for that short window of time when he really wasn't facing great heavyweights. The great heavyweights he faced in Michael Spinks and Larry Holmes, Larry Holmes was, he was intimidated, first of all, and Michael Spinks wasn't even a true heavyweight. was a light heavy that went to heavyweight, but you know, and Michael Spinks was injured when he faced Mike Tyson. So you can't really like they weren't full fledged heavyweights, you know. But like guys like you know, like I said before, those guys I just called, who had actually faced Mike Tyson in the amateurs. You know, Holyfield faced Tyson in the amateurs up in the Catskill Hills, and Lennox Lewis faced him in the amateurs in the Catskill Hills, and they both hung with him. He didn't knock them out. So I'm just saying, if they could have done that, and that was the Tyson before Tyson was, you know, that's supposed to be the prime Tyson. You know, it was always going to be that these guys always had his number, and they were always going to beat him. You know, and then also besides them, like I said before, I think the heavyweight division in the '90s was just packed. You know, it was a crazy division. We had some really incredibly strong, powerful heavyweights out there, and I just think that Mike Tyson just didn't have that kind of competition when he was on the up and coming in the '80s, the late '80s. Michael Spinks was a heavyweight for 2 years before the Tyson fight. Yeah, I know. Yeah, you know he came up from light heavyweight. So I mean, and he was injured when he faced Mike Tyson. He had a knee brace and shit. So I mean, you know, yeah, Tyson got those 2 wins. I think the best wins of his career were Bone Crusher Smith, who was an old motherfucker, but he was tough. And I thought Razor Ruddock was his 2 greatest wins, right? You look at guys like the English dude, I forgot what his name is right now, who Mike Tyson just blew over twice. But everybody blew over that motherfucker. Everybody beat his ass. So he wasn't really all that. He became WBC champion and all of that, but you know, I'm trying to remember his name right now. You guys know who I'm talking about. Frank Bruno. Yeah, Frank Bruno was, I mean, he was mat food for them other heavyweights, right? Those heavyweights just ran over him, right? So telling me that Mike Tyson beat Frank Bruno, it sounds good. I mean, he was undefeated when, you know, and all that, but Frank Bruno was the doormat for everybody. You know what I mean? So Mike Tyson, to me, to this day, is an overhyped fighter. He's great. He had great skills. Don't get me wrong. He was elite. He was A level. He was A class. You know, he's a Hall of Famer and all of that. But I just think that he was overhyped. Boxing Monster says Robin Givens, Ether Tyson, not Douglas. It's true. Yeah. He got fucked over by 2 women, and they were both black. He got fucked over by 2 women. Robin Givens, and then he went to prison for fucking Miss Universe or some shit like that. It was fucked up. Miss USA or some shit like that. Allegedly, he raped her or some shit like that. It's fucked up. Lost a couple years of his life. But he came back and he became unified world champion. The motherfucker came back and became unified world champion. Kudos to him. You know what I mean? And he went through some interesting people to get there. But at the end of the day, I just think that, you know, there were guys out there that were real dudes in the heavyweight division. He never went through those guys, you know what I mean? But everybody wanted to see him win and wanted to see him prosper, so. But he was trying to make his way back up to the top. He was becoming a unified world champion again. And then he faced Lennox Lewis, and that was that. That was the last she wrote. He got put down hard in that fight. He took a beating. He took a drumming from Lennox. You thought Holyfield was bad. Nope. And Holyfield beat his ass twice. Bad ass beating, okay? That's Evander Holyfield. He wasn't even a true heavyweight. He came up from cruiser. Beat his ass. Ooh, I didn't like it at the time. I hated Holyfield. Because Holyfield was a bit dirty. He used to butcher you with his head and shit. But now I see a fight as a fight. I respect him for what he did. He was physically stronger than Tyson. And that's why I tell you guys again, strength is different to power. You know, he knew how to clinch up Tyson. When Tyson was trying to throw off his punches, Holyfield knew how to lock him up. He was physically stronger, so Tyson couldn't resist it. Vasil says, you know what I noticed in those fights? What, man? That he lost. The loss of his footwork and head movement. That side-to-side lateral movement is what made Iron Mike a killer. Yeah, but you see, the problem with Iron Mike is this, all right? It's like Pacquiao, okay? Lateral movement only look good when the motherfuckers that you facing don't know how to pivot with you. So you look great you look fast and great against fighters who don't know how to pivot work either. But when you have a sleek 6'5", 6'6" motherfucking boxer who's agile, can get to your level, can crouch, and can pivot, can fight you on the outside with that fucking jab, you have a problem. And that's what happened with Tyson. So he could have bobbed and weaved how much he wanted to. Lennox Lewis was always going to have his number because Lennox knew how to sidestep him. He knew how to pivot. He knew how to keep range. And Tyson didn't know how to fight going back. So if you can push him back, just like if you do it with Gennady Golovkin, just like how you do that, what the motherfucker's name is, the dude that fought Jack Dempsey, I forgot what his name, Gene Tunney. What Gene Tunney did to Jack Dempsey, he made Jack Dempsey go find him at first, and then he started backing his ass up and beating his ass. You understand what I'm saying? You back those motherfuckers up. They good at going forward. They don't have no reverse gear. They have no fucking reverse gear. And that's what Lennox Lewis took advantage of. He pivoted around him at first. He was pivoting around him, and then he just pushed his ass back. And Mike Tyson don't know how to go back. He didn't know how to fight going backwards. And that was the downfall. That's the downfall of boxers like Jake LaMotta, Jack Dempsey, Mike Tyson, Chocolatito, Gennady Golovkin, right? They don't know how to fight going backwards. Artur Beterbiev knows how to fight going backwards. This kid, what's his name? They don't come to me. Juan Francisco Estrada knows how to fight going backwards. So these motherfuckers are never going to fall for that shit. Miga Cotto knows how to fight going backwards. These guys have all-around fucking game. Right? But if you know how to push a fighter that goes forward backwards, So come get you fighters. They must know how to fight on the back foot too. If you don't know how to fight on the back foot, your ass is grass. He just went for the knockout shot. He got obsessed with power, no doubt about it. He got obsessed with power, and he lost some technique, no doubt about that. I agree with that one. I think he got too full of himself. But still says, I still think if he had the mentality under Gus, that power, speed, and movement, those fights would have been different. Listen, Gus coached, if I'm not mistaken, he trained Patterson, right? Floyd Patterson, okay? But here's the thing. See, a lot of people, I gotta go just now. Listen, Floyd Patterson also was a fighter that came forward, right? He went from low to high. He had a beautiful leaping left hook. But the motherfucker didn't know how to fight going backwards. What the fuck you gonna do if in a fight, the other guy, he starts pushing your ass backwards? What you gonna do? Cus D'Amato was a great coach. But Cus D'Amato only knew one way of fighting, which was to go forward. And that's an Achilles heel. Rocky Marciano did not know how to fight going backwards. That's how you beat Rocky Marciano. You got to push his ass back. And he got caught with shots. And he got dropped. That's why Vasil says Tyson was a beaten fighter mentally and physically at that point in his career. Listen, man. You're making excuses for him. Like I said before, Mike Tyson didn't know how to fucking go backwards. He did not know how to box backwards. He would move to the side of you. He'd work around you. He'd go weak side. But he did not know how to go back. Boxing Monster. That's what Jose Ramirez did to Maurice Hooker. There you go. That's correct. But still, yeah, he did. No, I'm not. What are you talking about? Making excuses? Yes, you are. I do agree with you that he, again, mentally, he wasn't as strong as he used to be before, but I do believe he became unified world champion, which means you don't come out of that situation, become unified world champion by chance. Vasil said, did you see his physical shape? He was fine physically. He had great physical shape. He wasn't the same person coming into that ring. No excuses. He was not the same person coming to that ring, but he was good enough. He had enough of his past. You know, look, man. Like I said before, and I will say it again. Holyfield sparred him. Custom Order had Holyfield. He stopped the fight and said, "Hey man, you might have to fight that guy later on in his career." And fucking Holyfield was a cruiserweight. Tyson was the heavyweight. Listen, man, you gotta understand. No matter what people tell you, styles make fights. And I'm saying there was no way in God green earth. People like to hype up Mike Tyson a lot. I get it. They feel he wouldn't have been beaten when he was in his prime. Whatever. My point is, if the motherfucker can't fight going backwards, that's where you got to target him. You got to get his ass to go backwards. You got to figure out how to do that. And these fighters could go backwards. All right? Both Holyfield and, even though Holyfield usually didn't go backwards, Holyfield knew how to box enough to go backwards. He had the box on the back foot, he boxed on the back foot, okay? My point being that he was never going to beat Evander Holyfield. Never. He was never going to beat Lennox Lewis. He's never going to beat him. I don't care what you guys say. I know enough boxing to understand styles make fights. His style and Evander Holyfield's style was kryptonite to his style. Evander Holyfield was his nemesis. It was always going to be that. He rematched Holyfield the second time, and the fight was going the same fucking way. The same fucking way. He was a beaten fighter in the first fight, too. Okay? Robin Givens took his toll. The downfall of a great man is a woman. Not really, because if he should have taken his toll, like as much as you guys are claiming, guess what? Then Robin Givens, that he wouldn't have become two-time world champion again. He was unified world champion. So I don't believe that. Not to that extent. Took his money, though. Took all his fucking money. Then he had all his money from the IRS. Shit. It's messed up. But a lot of people back Mike Tyson. A lot of people was backing him. Shit, I gotta turn on the lights here. This place is dark. It's nighttime anyway, people. I gotta get out of here. But again, Mike Tyson, I do understand what you guys are saying. I always used to agree with that same narrative because I was a Mike Tyson fan too. You know what I'm saying? So I know about all of that. I think he unified. I think he won the WBC and the WBA or WBO or some shit like that. I don't think it was the WBO. I think it was the IBF or something. He did win some other title. He was a bad motherfucker, man. He was a bad motherfucker. Yeah. I gotta go, though. Sorry about that, guys. But I gotta get out of here. Just turning on the lights all around. Make sure they got lights in the house. And I gotta get out of here. I haven't eaten lunch. Shit, I don't know. I treat myself bad these days. I'm still not exercising. I'm supposed to have done some gym work. I didn't do any gym work. I didn't nothing. See, that's the problem. Consistency. And while I do feel okay, it's not the same. Anyway, peoples, man, I do understand what you guys are saying. Trust me, I understand where you guys are coming from. I just don't think he ever would have been able to beat Holyfield or Lennox Lewis. Lennox Lewis came up a little bit after him, though, in the 2000s. But Holyfield, I don't think he ever would have been able to beat Holyfield. And I think Lennox sparred him as well back in the Catskill Mountains. That's after Lennox had beaten everybody in the amateurs and he came and faced Tyson. They say, you got to face Tyson. So he faced him. And he did well. And my point being, this is my point. My point being, they faced already. Tyson was knocking out everybody. He didn't knock out them two. I'm just saying. So you guys will understand. You know, Mike is a hell of a fighter. Don't get me wrong. I think people hype him up too much. I'm happy for him, though. He's doing well. Just like how they hype up Jack Dempsey. Got his ass beat by Gene Tunney, though. Twice. So it was not a fluke. Twice. People like certain styles, I guess. But at the end of the day, it ain't cool to take punishment. That's my point. I gotta catch you guys later. Mike Tyson, though, great boxer, all-time great Hall of Famer. Don't get it twisted. I just think a bit overhyped. That's just my opinion. I hope he's not mad at me for that, or people are not mad at me for that. I don't think he was shit. Absolutely not. But I just think he's a bit overhyped. He was not a shit fighter. It was hard to get him to go back, just like it's hard to get Gennady Golovkin to go back. And by no means am I saying that he's as skilled as Gennady Golovkin. Hell of a lot more skilled than Gennady Golovkin, in my opinion. Had better defense. That peekaboo style, sick. I'm just saying that I think that certain fighters had his number. Because it's not just keeping a guy off of a jab, you know. It's also how you use your feet as you're using that jab. And that's the thing that Lennox had on Tyson. Evander fought him on the inside. Tyson's not an inside fighter like that. He fought him on the inside and fought him at mid-range. He locked him up on the inside and he fought him at mid-range. He knew Tyson, once Tyson got on the inside, he would do his work. So he locked him up on the inside and fought him at mid-range, where Holyfield shines with his combinations and shit. And Lennox kept him on the outside. Lennox changed levels so that when he's trying to come in, bob and weave, to get under the punches to come in on him. But yeah, like you guys said, he was slower than he used to be. And because of that, you know, the excessive head movement and the bob. But then again, he got hit by Lennox Lewis quite a lot. Lennox Lewis sharpshoot him a couple of times and slowed him down as well. And then again, Mike Tyson wasn't really a 12-rounder fighter. That's the other thing. He wasn't a 12-round fighter. He gassed. That was another thing. If he didn't get you out of there in the first 5-6 rounds, curtains for him. You put him in deep water and drown him. He wasn't really a 12-rounder. He did it with, I think he did with Razor Ruddock. He went 12 rounds, but he's not really a 12-rounder fighter. Had a lot of muscles, a lot of muscle mass, big, strong dude. So he was effective for short periods of time. If you can carry him the distance, which what Buster Douglas did, you could drown him. Now, another fact worth thinking about. You're a good front runner. If he didn't get you out of there in 4 rounds, he gonna drown. Yep. So yeah, the aura of Mike Tyson. He used to intimidate his opponents, and that's how he beat them. He beat them before they get in the ring. He used intimidation. But if you weren't intimidated of him, you could beat his ass. So there you go. Anyway, peoples, I'm out of here. It was nice talking with you guys. As always, don't forget you can subscribe, share, comment. Peace to you, Boxing Monster, Jessica Vasil. Shout out to you guys. A shout out to Pooby Sis Trunk, as well as my boy, my brother, what's his name? Tommy Temper. Shout out to all you guys, man. It was nice talking with you guys. I'm gonna do some more boxing chats, and I'm gonna keep it going. I'll keep it bubbling. You know, I always try to tell the truth, and I don't give a fuck what people think. I'm gonna say what I have to say. Peace. I'm out of here.